It's easy for men to fall into the trap of chasing women. The pursuit of romance often turns into an exhausting and sometimes desperate endeavor. But what if I told you there was a better way to approach relationships? What if you could find happiness and contentment without chasing after someone's affection? This quest for understanding leads us to the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that can help you keep your cool, gain perspective, and cultivate respectful relationships. Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy, provides a framework for living a life guided by reason, virtue, and self-control. It has stood the test of time because of its applicability to various aspects of life, including relationships. In this video, we will explore how the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, can inspire you to rethink the way you approach women, love, and the pursuit of happiness. Understanding the pursuit. To understand why chasing women may not be the best approach, let's first delve into the psychology behind it. Many men feel compelled to chase women due to societal pressures, evolutionary instincts, or personal insecurities. Society often glorifies the idea of the relentless hunter who relentlessly pursues the object of their affection. This glorification can lead men to feel as though they must constantly prove themselves through extravagant displays of affection, relentless pursuit, and even manipulation. But Stoicism teaches us to take a step back, to pause, and to reflect on the consequences of our actions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, had much to say on the topic of desire and pursuit. He wrote in his Meditations, "Despise not death, but welcome it, for nature wills it like all else." In the context of pursuing women, this could be interpreted as a reminder that we must accept the natural course of events and not force them. Desperation and relentless pursuit often lead to unintended consequences, including damaged self-esteem, strained relationships, and unfulfilled desires. The Stoic path to contentment. In Stoicism, the ultimate goal is not the chase of external objects, such as women, but rather the cultivation of inner strength and resilience. By focusing on what is within our control, we can find contentment and happiness regardless of external circumstances. This philosophy encourages us to shift our focus from trying to change others or our environment to transforming ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic par excellence, provides invaluable guidance on this path to inner transformation. He encourages us to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Beat 1. In the context of relationships, this means becoming the best version of ourselves, rather than trying to mold someone else into our ideal partner. Instead of chasing women, focus on self-improvement, honing your character, and becoming a man of virtue and integrity. Virtue in relationships. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on virtue, living in accordance with reason and moral principles. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This principle is especially relevant when it comes to relationships. Instead of chasing women, strive to cultivate virtue within yourself. Practice wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. These virtues will not only make you a better person, but will also make you more attractive to potential partners. Rather than pursuing women, allow them to be drawn to the qualities that virtuous living cultivates. Embracing self-control. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the importance of self-control. The ability to manage your desires and emotions is central to living a Stoic life. It is essential to refrain from pursuing women out of impulse, neediness, or instant gratification. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In the context of relationships, this means recognizing that you can control your reactions and emotions, even if you can't control the actions or feelings of others. By practicing self-control, you can maintain your composure and emotional stability, which is essential in any relationship. Respecting autonomy. Chasing women often involves ignoring their autonomy and desires, as the focus is on your own needs and desires. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to respect the autonomy and individuality of others. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius writes, "Everything is right for me which is right for you, O universe. Nothing for me is too early or too late, which comes in due time for you." This insight reminds us that we are part of a larger cosmic order, and our desires should align with that order. Instead of chasing women, we should respect their choices and boundaries. The art of patience. In the pursuit of women, impatience can be a significant stumbling block. The desire for instant gratification often leads to impulsive actions and ill-considered decisions. Stoicism advocates for patience, reminding us that some things are worth waiting for. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Instead of chasing women impulsively, be patient and allow time to reveal the true nature of your compatibility and connection. Rejection and Stoicism. Rejection is a common and often painful experience in the world of dating and relationships. Many men take rejection as a personal blow to their self-esteem, leading to anger, sadness, and frustration. Stoicism offers a different perspective on rejection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." This Stoic teaching encourages us to reframe rejection. Instead of seeing it as a failure or an attack on your self-worth, view it as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Rejection does not define your value as a person. It is merely a part of the natural ebb and flow of life. The importance of perspective. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of maintaining a rational and balanced perspective on life's challenges and triumphs. In the realm of relationships, this means not attaching your happiness to the outcome of your pursuit of women. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This perspective reminds us that life is a gift, and our happiness should not depend on external factors. Instead of chasing women as a means to an end, find happiness in the present moment and the relationships you already have. Building meaningful connections. Stoicism teaches us that the most meaningful and lasting connections come from authenticity and mutual respect. Rather than chasing women, strive to build genuine and deep relationships. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In the context of relationships, this means being authentic and genuine in your interactions with women. Be the best version of yourself, and you will naturally attract those who appreciate and value you for who you are. The power of contentment. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on finding contentment within ourselves, rather than seeking it in external objects. This perspective can dramatically change the way we approach relationships. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." In the context of relationships, this means that chasing women in the hope of finding happiness is a futile endeavor. True contentment comes from within, from cultivating a mindset of gratitude and acceptance. Freedom from attachment. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the idea of freedom from attachment to external things. This concept is particularly relevant to the pursuit of women. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In the context of relationships, this means that seeking revenge or retribution when faced with rejection or disappointment is not the Stoic way. Instead, practice freedom from attachment, letting go of the need for external validation and finding strength in self-sufficiency. The Stoic approach to love. Stoicism provides a unique perspective on love and relationships. It encourages us to cultivate a love that is virtuous, selfless, and enduring. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." In the context of love, this means rising above the petty games and dramas often associated with dating and relationships. Instead of seeking revenge or manipulation, practice a love that is based on respect, understanding, and selflessness. Embracing Stoicism in practice. Now that we've explored the Stoic principles that can guide you away from chasing women and toward a more fulfilling approach to relationships, Let's delve into practical steps to implement these teachings in your life. Number 1. Self-reflection. Start by taking time for self-reflection. This practice is a cornerstone of Stoicism, and it's essential for understanding your own motivations, desires, and weaknesses. Spend time thinking about your past relationships and the patterns you've noticed. Why did they succeed or fail? What were your expectations, and how did they affect the outcome? Understanding your own thought processes and emotions will help you make more rational decisions in the future. Number 2. Practice self-improvement. As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. Channel your energy into self-improvement. Work on becoming the best version of yourself, not to impress others, but to live a life of virtue and inner strength. Pursue hobbies, education, and personal growth that fulfill you and build your character. Number 3. Develop patience. Impatience often drives the pursuit of women, leading to hasty decisions and actions. To overcome this, practice patience in all aspects of your life. Recognize that the best things come to those who wait. Patience allows you to make more thoughtful and rational decisions, especially in the realm of relationships. Number 4. Cultivate gratitude. In the pursuit of women, it's easy to focus on what you lack rather than what you have. Shift your perspective by practicing gratitude. As Marcus Aurelius emphasized, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Take a moment each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This practice can help you find contentment within yourself and reduce the need to chase external validation. Number 5. Respect autonomy. In your interactions with women, always respect their autonomy and choices. It's crucial to acknowledge that everyone has their own desires and paths in life. Instead of trying to change someone's mind or make them conform to your wishes, respect their individuality. If a person is not interested, move on graciously and without resentment. Number 6. Reframe rejection. As we discussed earlier, rejection is a part of life, and it doesn't define your worth. When faced with rejection, practice the Stoic mindset of reframing it as an opportunity for growth. Use it as a chance to strengthen your resilience and self-control. Rejection doesn't reflect your character or value as a person. It's merely a circumstance that can help you learn and improve. Number 7. Build meaningful connections. Shift your focus from pursuing women to building meaningful connections. Approach each interaction with authenticity and respect. Be genuine and show interest in the person you are connecting with. Building a solid foundation based on mutual respect and understanding will lead to more satisfying and lasting relationships. Number 8. Let go of external validation. Stoicism teaches us the importance of finding validation within ourselves rather than seeking it from external sources. Free yourself from the need for constant approval or attention. Cultivate self-sufficiency and inner strength, so you don't have to chase validation through relationships or external sources. Number 9. Practice emotional control. Develop the ability to control your emotions and reactions. Stoicism places great importance on maintaining composure and rationality, even in challenging situations. When it comes to relationships, emotional control will help you navigate complex dynamics with grace and integrity. Number 10. Pursue virtuous love. Embrace the Stoic idea of virtuous love. This means focusing on love that is based on wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. Make it your aim to develop a love that is grounded in respect, selflessness, and moral principles rather than the pursuit of fleeting pleasures. The Stoic perspective on long-term relationships. While we've explored how Stoicism can guide you away from chasing women and towards a more balanced approach to dating, it's equally valuable to consider how these teachings can shape long-term relationships. After all, successful long-term relationships require a commitment to the same Stoic principles that we've discussed so far. Number 1. Embrace virtue. In Stoicism, virtue is at the heart of living a good life. To apply this in long-term relationships, ensure that your actions and decisions are guided by wisdom. justice, courage, and self-discipline. The goal is to be a virtuous partner and to seek a similar virtuous character in your significant other. Number 2. Maintain self-control. Self-control is essential not just during the pursuit of women, but throughout the course of a long-term relationship. Your ability to manage emotions, especially during conflicts and challenges, is vital. Stoicism teaches you to take a step back, assess the situation rationally, and respond with self-control rather than impulsiveness. Number 3. Cultivate patience. Long-term relationships inevitably bring challenges and difficulties. Stoicism emphasizes patience as a virtue. You must accept that not everything will go your way, and some issues may take time to resolve. Patience allows you to weather storms and appreciate the process of growth in your relationship. Number 4. Respect autonomy. Just as you respect the autonomy of women in the pursuit of relationships, continue to honor the autonomy and individuality of your partner in a long-term relationship. Healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and support for each other's choices and life paths. Number 5. Handle rejection gracefully. Even in long-term relationships, rejection can take different forms, such as disagreements, differing opinions, or changes in feelings. Stoicism encourages you to handle rejection or setbacks gracefully, using them as opportunities for personal growth and improvement, both individually and as a couple. Number 6. Nurture meaningful connections. As your relationship progresses, continue to build on the foundation of meaningful connections, open and honest communication, shared values, and mutual respect are the cornerstones of a healthy long-term relationship. Strive for a partnership that remains genuine and fulfilling over time. Number 7. Find contentment within. Stoicism teaches that true contentment comes from within, regardless of external circumstances. In a long-term relationship, this means you should not rely on your partner to provide constant happiness or fulfillment. Instead, continue to cultivate contentment within yourself and share that sense of inner peace with your partner. Number 8. Maintain freedom from attachment. Long-term relationships can sometimes lead to an unhealthy level of attachment, which can be detrimental to both individuals. Stoicism advises maintaining a sense of freedom from attachment to external factors. Even when deeply committed to a relationship, this freedom allows you to love your partner without being dependent on them for your happiness. Number 9. Embrace stoic love. In a long-term relationship, Stoicism encourages you to practice what we could call stoic love. This type of love is characterized by selflessness, understanding, and a commitment to the well-being of your partner. It is a love that transcends mere desire and aims for the betterment of both individuals involved. Number 10. Continue emotional control. The ability to control your emotions remains paramount in a long-term relationship. While the initial stages may be filled with passion, the long haul will test your emotional stability. Stoicism equips you with the tools to maintain composure and rationality, even in the face of complex relationship dynamics. As you navigate long-term relationships, the Stoic principles you've learned about offer an invaluable guide to maintaining a fulfilling, respectful, and enduring partnership. The teachings of Marcus Aurelius underscore the importance of virtue, self-control, patience, respect, and emotional composure. Incorporate these Stoic ideals into your daily life to create a lasting relationship founded on mutual growth, respect, and a profound connection. By doing so, you'll not only avoid the need to chase after fleeting desires, but also build a relationship that brings lasting joy and contentment. Embrace the Stoic path to love and relationships, and remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By applying these Stoic teachings, you can nurture a fulfilling, enduring, and virtuous long-term relationship, where you find happiness within and share it with your partner.
The government is a figment of your imagination. It's an artificial, intelligent overlay. It is only a concept. It's a play. It's a performance. It's an act. They love when I have to fucking go off. I can look at something from a few different sides, and I can see where it all connects despite what they're telling me. Right? They just look at what they're told. I look at what makes sense. You know, they'll say I'm doing word salad. They'll say that I'm just going off on my own tangent, but that is because my mind works in a different way than the majority of the slaves. You guys are all in your feelers and never see the logic behind life, how it all moves together and fits together and how it works. So when you learn to check your feelers and move them out of the way and just observe with clarity and presence and awareness, you will make the right determinations and the right decisions. It's all the same shit over and over again. And no matter how much I speak on self-empowerment, self-mastery, self-reflection, you all have a belief and a feeling that's going to trump that. Ancient wisdom that works for everybody who embodies the path. You're not your own God. I know you want to be, but you're not. As soon as you get in line with what that thing wants from you or what is, you'll stop having these fucking problems. I view all the rest of this shit as a distraction. Governance is an act and a play, and it requires your belief and participation. The culture, the society, the legal system, the legal society, policy, statute, and code is the original artificial intelligence and state of consciousness that has been overlaid on the NI. And that's why you have domesticated slaves and you have uncivilized men like myself. You don't want to accept that there's an objective morality that exists in this realm that every man and woman can comprehend using objective logic. It's not about wanting the fame and the riches. It's about being good at what you do, being recognized for it, and then when you get to the dance, telling all the people to suck your dick in public and leave because you never wanted to bond with them anyway. That's the whole point of being true to yourself, is so that wherever you get to that you're meant to go, you don't have to change that. Quite the opposite. That's what got you there. I got a direct link to that spirit and to the people who chick in. You can't get in between them. That's beyond worldly power. That's where you go beyond the ceiling that they don't want you to go beyond. That's the stage of inspiration and empowerment. They can't control you no more. They can't influence you no more. They can't put fear on you and things around you to stop you from being who and what you're meant to be. That's the game for me. That's the game for all of us, I thought. Actualized and realized. Written on our heart, first and foremost, through common sense, that if not overlaid with some dogma and indoctrination, we could all communicate harmoniously. Right? So I'm never going to accept, unless my perspective completely changes, that there isn't an objective morality here that can be hit as a standard and understood by any being with the capacity of objective logic, understanding right from wrong. Okay? So you just want to say statute, policy, and code is law, and the law is the law, even though they're making it up and revising it constantly. And it's not always in line with objective right from wrong. So you're completely misunderstood. You guys talk from feelers. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your etymology is never sound because you don't care to look into the words and terms. This should not be that difficult. But for beings who lost the ability to imagine, I'm sure that it's quite the Herculean task. You should be able to zoom out and see all the connections and how it relates. You can't do that. You have no business speaking to someone else who can. There is no selfless component to you folks' consciousness. And it's evident because you constantly project onto others how selfish you think they are because you don't think that that state of consciousness is attainable. Embarrassing.
Powerful. Gorilla Gems, Talcott Clip Collection, collaboration intro. Those boys are on it. There's no doubt about it. Greetings, folks. We're back at it. We got Broken System, Broken Trust. Of course, we're streaming to his platform at this time. I'll go ahead and bring him in. I don't know if he has too long for us. Greetings, Mr. Broken System, Broken Trust.
Well, hello, Paul. How are you?
I'm blessed,
shoot, I got an
sir.
echo. Hold on. Let me fix that. If it's on my end, I think I got it fixed.
Okay. I think you're good to go.
Cool. Well, I saw a couple really exciting things today. I don't want to give out any spoiler alerts, but there is a judge that said something that's just obviously ridiculous that I was blown back when I heard it. No spoiler alerts. I'll send you something. Maybe you can take a look at it first. But even with my novice understanding of law, and I'm talking novice understanding of law, I mean, just such a glaring mistake. Just such a glaring mistake. It's obvious. But anyways, there was that, and then I saw a few.
Don't tease us. You know, go ahead and tell me what it is exactly that he said, and then let's have the conversation. You know, don't beat around the bush here.
Well, the reason I didn't want to get into it right now is because just things are unpredictable right now, so I might have to run any minute, but I could have up to an hour to hang out. So I just don't know.
Don't do this to me. Give me what he said, please. Just boil it down. Okay. It's simple. Let's just get to it. Come on.
Well,
don't make me beg. It's unsightly. I'm a god of all media at this point. Please.
Well, I mean, Judge Slavin, you have seen
Judge Slavin. Oh, I remember the chubby Judge Slavin. His name is spelled Slaven, ironically.
Yes. And guess what? Guess what the senior judge and the second judge's name at that same courthouse, guess what her name is?
What
Shackelford.
is it?
Shackelford. You can't make this shit up. You cannot.
Okay, hold on. I'm changing my name now. In honor of that.
I'm telling you. The universe is aligning. The planets are aligning. The universe is coming together. That you can't make this sort of shit up. And what Slavin said today, and it amazes me. Before I tell you what he said, the channel that it was on is, a channel that mocks, a Sovsit, right? Quote unquote Sovsit. And I find it
folks who try to uphold God's law and stand for rights and freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, like they're cheering on this judge. Like this judge is going to be so embarrassed. And so basically what he said is, because the guy, the defendant, quote unquote defendant, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't have the exact quotes, but it was something along the lines, well, if I ask for jury or bench trial, are you going to presume that you have jurisdiction over me? And of course, Slavin's response was somewhere along the lines of, well, we've already decided that, and of course I have jurisdiction over you. I'm like, what the fuck did he just say? I have a recording of another judge in a similar district court in the same state of Michigan who personally told me she doesn't have jurisdiction over the charges because I said, why don't we just dismiss this today? I thought that was a great option. We can stop wasting all this taxpayer money. We can save the court time. We can just dismiss it. There's no controversy. There's no other party that's going to complain about it. But no, they had to keep it going. And she said, well, that's not within my jurisdiction. I'm like, so who has the jurisdiction? Oh, the prosecutor has the jurisdiction. So did Slavin just screw up? Right.
And I would have to I couldn't get past the fact that the guy's name would be Judge Slavin.
You'd get contempt right away. You'd be like, dude, spell your name the right way. Guys. Spell your damn name the right way, Slavin. Change that E to an I.
I just go in there and go full Talcott. I go, good game, God. Good game. They give me a thank you now, right? like when I walked up on the guy who was blocking traffic, the police officer, and he gave me the card and his name was Lawcock. I go, good game, God. Good game.
It's almost like when the universe gives you ego on a license plate, if you get my drift. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, that was another one too, where I pulled up and the license plate said Ego 365 or 356.
It's just
you can't make
such
this
a
shit
miracle.
Up. Yeah, it's what I like to call slave synchronicity, right? Enslavement synchronicity, where you just start to really see how much the universe has a sense of humor, even when it comes to slavery and genocide, right? Like it'll put it right in your face, and it'll, it wants to see what you do with it, really. So I don't know. I guess you learn to love the game because of things like that. Because I mean, no matter what they're doing or saying to you, if it's Judge Slavin and Clerk Shackle Slave. Yeah, and then the guy who arrests you's name is Lawcock, and you start going down the line, you go, there's no way that this is really real. Like, we're going full Talcott again. Like, it seems to be real. We're in something. We have a body. We can make choice, but something else is going on here, you know. And then you just kind of yield to that in a sense, whatever that is. Your
What are the
thoughts?
odds of two judges at the same courthouse with slave and shackle in their names? Like that, mind blowing. And then for it to present to you here, like absolutely crazy.
Right. When I, of course, am Paul enslaved, and then the first symbol that I put in the chat when we started was the shackles, right? The shackles breaking. That was my emoji, so to speak. You want to
Well,
call it
there's
that.
one thing with truth that I've noticed, and it doesn't matter where you are as far as time, space, any of that. With truth, you know, it's consistent, right? And you can hear a consistent message, and then you can tell when there's some manipulation or some fuckery going on. And I'm just so I just feel like I'm in the right time right now because it's like all the fuckery is just being exposed, and I don't know what the higher calling or purpose is. I just know I'm in it, and I couldn't be happier at this moment in time to be in it, even though things
Hold
are
on, I have
unpredictable.
to thank Jennifer for bringing me food. She's an amazing woman, amazing mother, amazing housekeeper, amazing teacher. She's an amazing woman all around. Thank you, Jennifer. It's my first lady right there.
And seeing that's awesome, and that should be evidence to folks on how things succeed. You know what I'm saying? A woman that props her man up and helps the man out, it goes better for the relationship. That's a beautiful sign right there.
Right. Well, I mean, if she wants to keep a prize like me, she's gonna have to keep me happy. You know, that's just the bottom line here. Your dream boat's docked, sweetie. So you
Well,
better make
I
it count.
I sense the self-deprecating humor in there,
A
but
little
I
bit. There's
gotta
a little
say,
bit. Just a little bit.
yeah, I gotta say though, you know, there's obvious signs that if folks can't see it, they're fucking blind. You know what I mean? As many mistakes as I've made in my life, and as naive as I've been at times, there's certain things that you can't deny when you see them. And your star is on the rise, man. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. There's nothing stopping you, and you're gonna make it happen.
Wow. This sandwich might, in fact, stop my heart, but you're correct. When it comes to this simulation and the alignment and the synchronicity, I'm in the groove. I got a momentum for the first time in my life over the past few years, and I'm running with it. So, yeah, I'm thankful and grateful, and I don't look back, and I really have no regrets. And I look forward to what the future has to hold. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sort of putting myself or anyone else on. Uh, it's the best of times, the worst of times, in a sense, right?
Well, you
Um,
are the best man of the people. You know what I mean? So, and then I just noticed Clerk Rapid. Oh, geez. I had a couple other things I wanted to touch on, but unfortunately, I can't. I got to drop down. But I just want, you know, my audience, your audience, whoever it is, you know, we're all on this journey together.
we're
Whether our
all in
paths
this
go,
together.
whether the paths go apart or come back together, doesn't matter.
Hey,
I'm
they tell me Sonny Barger's son is down there. Well, not they. He told me that specifically
oh,
because it was
okay.
in his name. And I go, is that Sonny Barger's ghost? And he goes, fuck you. That was my dad. So I don't know if he's being serious or what that is, but that's kind of interesting. I've had a bunch of folks come into my awareness uh, from unlikely places, right? Unlikely sources. Um, so that would be interesting if it turned out to actually be Sonny Barger's son who watches this broadcast, which I forget. I believe it was the Mongols, but I could have that wrong. Maybe it was Hell's Angels because they warred with each other. I forget
Well,
if
the
Sonny
Mongols
Barger
are
was
the Hell's
Mongols or Hell's
Angels.
Angels.
Those aren't. I don't see similarities between monks and Hell's Angels, but
No, Mongols is a biker club.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Not that I have any affiliation with any of these people. I mean, I'm open to speaking with them. I think there's honorable men and women in every field, every walk
I,
of life. Um, and I'm sure that there's folks who stand for rights, freedom, and principles or honorability in all walks of life. So,
It's perfectly normal to be bike curious. You know what I mean? It's perfectly normal. Check them out.
Mhm.
See what's going on over there. But yeah, but I got to drop down. Unfortunately, I would love to be able to, stay and hang out or whatever. But unpredictable life is calling. But the one thing I know is it feels exciting at the same time as kind of scary and unpredictable. But I love the variables that are thrown in as well, the little corkscrews. And I just saw one today, so I tried to come up here and get it out before I had to go.
All right. Well, say no more. Away with you.
All right, keep
And,
doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, we'll talk more when you got time. And we'll look at some slaving footage, because why
Awesome.
the hell not?
And everybody else in the chat, thanks for joining us, and hopefully everything is working out well, and you guys are enjoying this and seeing value out of it. That's all. That's all, guys. Take care.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to at least be a few handfuls of folks over on the Broken System, Broken Trust channel who've been valuing or enjoying the restream lately. So, yeah, we're over here. Proper instruction motivates people. If you want to join the chat, it's a fairly active chat. And the same goes for the Paul Unslaved is Shadowban channel. Because we're going to have to do what folks do where we repeat like everything. It's loop within loop within loop. So, I may have to come on more and just kind of repeat certain things so that folks can hear that or see that or get that, because you'd be surprised how many folks be a year and a half in, say, we don't know where you went, where you've been on the first channel. I go, it's in the description on the first channel. It's in big letters. I put it in the headlines. What are you going to do? Okay. Let's move forward. I threw the link down there. Folks want to come on up, of course, always open panel, but chosen panel, right? Like the chosen people, it's a chosen panel. So every once in a while, we got to reorder folks, refocus them, get them out of their confusion and imagined disagreements so that we can carry on. But other than that, fairly open, right? I would say I am the only, if not one of the only folks who is known for being a truther. That's in quotes because I don't use these terms. I don't look at myself that way. But these folks tell me I'm that. God of all media, hero, legend, truther, activist, community leader, various titles they've told to me, and they started to make me think that I was something. It's crazy. But yeah, open-ish panel. Mr. L down there is saying, of course, Snafu crew down there. But yeah, I'm one of the only folks who does the open panel, if not the only one. I mean, I have firsthand experience with all of these venues and all these folks, some degree. I don't know anybody else who does what I do, speaks about what I speak about, who does completely open panels and have open dialogue back and forth, question, be held accountable. More importantly, the ideas and the understanding be held accountable. That's what I'm here for, right? Not only do I not run from that or shy away from that, but I've, some might say, opened Pandora's box to a chaotic styling in order to fulfill that idea. That I was tired of seeing folks label themselves and talk about how great they were and how much they were doing and anarchy and freedom and all the rest of it, but they won't have open interactions with the public, quote unquote. They won't have open interactions with men and women, the people. They just create content and then go back off to their life. And as far as I'm concerned, until I change my perspective, this shit doesn't go like that. You want to entertain, you want to create content, you want to be a broadcaster. Yeah, I'm right there with you, guy number one. But there also has to be, I feel, another element to that: a free exchange of ideas and value. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's just my perspective. That's why I do what I do. I can't really project that onto anyone else, but I do find a lot of things interesting and coincidental. We'll just leave it at that. Okay. So I'll throw the link once again. Folks want to come up and address anything. I see they're all down there. They're chattering. Yeah, now's your time to do it. Of course, I'm not going to stop you further on. But, now or never, potentially, right? That's the idea. I'm trying to draw you out up front If not, we'll move into the docket as always, and we'll see what comes forth. Usually, someone or something comes forth. What I found, and I also like that game, right? Because I am a cosmic gambler. I like the game of opening the portal and not knowing what comes forth, and then going, what if nothing comes forth, and then what if everything comes forth, and then you have to surrender to the moment, who and what you are, what's in your heart, what's on your mind, what type of life and lifestyle you're living that you're pretty much going to speak on regardless, because you find value in it. So yeah, I even find value in that process. Um, at some point, I'm going to have to put together some more physical presentations. At these events, I may have to stop down at Anarchapulco, liven things up, get some content, film the events, have some interactions, and see what it's all really about. I just may jump all the way out the window with this troll campaigning that I've been come to be known for. Yeah, I may just show up at like anarchy events, freedom festivals. I may do the on the ground component everybody keeps saying they're going to do and not going to do. Right? I've already got it done. I've already gone to jail over and over again. Obviously, I'm not too fearful. Even if there is a bit of anticipation, I'm not too fearful to get on the ground and interact with these slaves and kick it back and forth. So yeah, going forward, the more that I'm kind of secure in all ways, and the more that I'm doing work in other areas and hitting goals, the more I'm open to other things, right? Or expanding on this idea of this platform. So that sounds like a good idea. I've had that idea for a while, and I think I'm gonna make that happen at some point. I want to get down to Anarchapulco. I want to get down with Mark Passio and all the rest, and I want to really have an interaction about what they're doing, what they're up to. Maybe speak to Mr. Jones. Alex Jones is making the rounds again after promoting Donnie Trump endlessly, like a clown. So yeah, we have that too. We have the Andy Taint, Elon Musk, Alex Jones conversation that we're going to finish today. We started it yesterday. I got no hits on it as far as strikes, so we'll continue forward with it. That's good news. A lot of times I can't show too many things or break out too much. It feels like, because in the past when I have, I've gotten stricken for Dao De Ching, right? Audiobook gets stricken. Certain information about men and women. It's all fair use, educational purposes, all public domain, and they want to use it to strike me. So every so often I'll expand out of my box again, try to chart the uncharted territory when it comes to YouTube and their policy. And, see what I can show that I'm interested in listening to, because I tend to not listen to these things completely. I tend to enjoy that experience with the audience. So that conversation, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I listened to the first few minutes. I may skim through it, 2 minutes beginning, middle, end, and then I listen to the whole thing back with the audience. So, okay, let me get to the enough jibber jabber here. I'm gonna say, get it together, Paulie boy. I don't give a fuck. Let's get on with it. 7 things I wish I knew in my 20s. Russian mob boss. We like this guy. They like this guy. There's no we. The chatters, the audience. I like this guy too.
Here are 7 things I wish I knew in my 20s, when I was still young, hungry, and dangerous. Number 1, the biggest mistakes come from too much talking. Be more silent. Number 2, do not make debts, or you will be a long-time slave. Number 3, do not make money, number 1. Especially not in your 20s, suka. Number 4, in business, in street and in jail, cooperation will bring you more power than confrontation. Number 5, if you want to make it big, find mentor. Not for weeks, but for years. Number 6, not great ideas make success. Only success makes success. So be successful in small things and then use it to build next bigger success. the last rule, number 7. World is small. You see always people again. That's why always show respect every fucking day. That's it. Now go take care of business, troop. Be honorable.
Be honorable, Suki. All right. Where are we at here? I got the Elon situation. I guess we can go into that. I should probably throw a poll, huh? This is where that would come in handy. I got so much going on back here that you guys aren't aware of. Backstage area. It's just so much going on. So busy back here. Do we want the Alex Jones conversation? One in chat if you want the continuation of the Elon Musk, Alex Jones, Andy Taint conversation. Go ahead. Let's start the poll now. Unofficial poll. I need poll music. All right. Poll numbers coming in. We got a 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, half. Half doesn't count. All right. Okay. That's the thing. You can't ask these people for anything. You can't throw a half in there. Half doesn't give me anything. 3 doesn't give me anything. So you're out. See, a lot of these people are a little bit, 69 doesn't work. That doesn't give me anything. Can't do anything. Can't take these people anywhere. The Barger family. Can't take them anywhere, right? You ask them one simple thing. Just give me a 1 if you want that. You give me 3s, halves, 69. I don't know what to make of it. It's the problem. The audience is just like me. Let's be real about it. They're bitter. They're resentful. They're belligerent. They're oppositional. They're selfish. Narcissistic, egoic. Pretty much a pure mirroring of who and what I am, or at least what they say I am. Okay, someone's going off on Snafu Creature. Very bizarre. Okay, let's move forward. 6079. No. That's that old number. Jenny, who can I turn to? 867-5309. Yeah, no, that's 6079. Okay, no, that's Smith's. That's the last 4 of Smith Creature. I see what you're doing there. Smith Creature 6079. Okay, let's move forward because Elon, I got your number and you're not going to change my mind. Much like Jenny. I know what you're up to. I feel. I'm just a theorist, though. Not a hero, not a rich man. Rich in spirit. Not rich by Kardashian metrics, though, physically. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's hear from our heroes. The 3 amigos.
For 2023 is my suspicion.
I know you've talked about incredible jets. You want to invent so many other things. Is there any other big invention you've got on the drawing board in the back of your mind that you haven't announced to the world that you want to tell people about today?
No. This would not be the forum for announcing any new products or technologies. So, I mean, we do have, the Neuralink chip, which I know some people might be concerned about, but that's really something that will take a very long time to, be in any kind of widespread use. We've got the first use. The first patient will get a Neuralink chip. This is a quadriplegic, and it will enable them to control their computer and their phone. And then
my uncle was in a motorcycle accident and he was having.
See, what I think is funny is that synchronistically, I stopped right there yesterday. We picked up right where we left off. the last thing I said was we're supposed to trust Elon, and Alex Jones is pushing his garbage, his tech, and Neuralink is at the bottom of that. So we stopped there. I didn't hear anything. And of course, as usual, synchronistically, he went to covering his bases about exactly the thing I spoke about that we would all be wary of. So purely a coincidence, I'm sure. It's not somebody in their mind subconsciously or consciously going, where am I going to be undone here and everything we just said? And how do I cover my bases to have plausible deniability or to avoid the liability of what's being created, right? So basically, his answer to me talking to him etherically yesterday was, well, I know everybody's worried about Neuralink and complete mind control and hacking of our, biological biometric system. You know, it's just going to take a long time to get there. So that's our form of comfort, right? Is that it's going to take a while for it to happen. Okay. So you're covering your bases, you're padding the liability and creating the plausible deniability. You're not saying it's something to worry. You're not saying it's not something to worry about. You're just saying it's going to take a while to happen. Well, that's good to know. And of course, I totally believe that, right? Totally believe that your Neuralink garbage is not going to be rolled out within the next 5 to 10 years, which is such a long time. Ask my father and others born in the 50s. They now have GPS holograms in their pocket. These people didn't even have color TV at one point. And they got holograms in their pocket that track and trace them, listen to them, and have an AI robot inside that they've named that they all talk to. And it's gathering data. And creating algorithms from their psychology. So I don't know, what are we talking? Another decade or two before you got these people completely wired up, slaved from the inside to the out? Right. Let me get back to it. Let me not project too much onto the three amigos, our heroes. They're going to save us from ourselves and what we've created. Oh, Mark Dice is there. Mark Dice, CJ Pearson, Elon, of course, Andy Taint. Dave, something or other.
Seizures for about to die, couldn't even walk. He got one. It's not one of your brain chips, but a brain chip. Yeah. And actually, he can walk and talk and is happy now. So that's not bad.
Exactly.
Bad,
so
no.
I mean, it's the regular
Devil does
stuff
good sometimes too.
It's very intense. So the first one will have, you could think of it sort of like a telepathy. You can sort of control your computer and phone just by thinking. So it's kind of like telepathy. And then the one after that will be, I don't know, we're trying to think of a name for it, but you can think of it like blind sight. Even if somebody has lost both eyes or lost the optic nerve and is completely blind, we can actually give them some amount of sight.
Or that.
Ultimately, I think high resolution sight, kind of like Geordi LaForge from Star Trek. You could actually see in multiple wavelengths. You could see ultraviolet and infrared, and you even see radar if you want.
And by the way, for people that don't know, Elon's not lying. Even in MIT papers, they've actually done tests. That's what they say though. Is I know the problem is just narrowing the sight to our bandwidth. They say these people see everything, right? Like a full spectrum.
Yeah, you can have it's a point at which you have a camera. You can have a camera that can receive photons of many wavelengths. So you could see, even in darkest night. And you could see ultraviolet, you could see infrared. Like I said, you could even see radar if you want. Wow. It would be a kind of thing that would, it's probably trademarked thing, but I think blindsight is a cool name for it. It's like even if, yeah.
Let me get one question from Mark Dice, because this is the best interview ever. Mark Dice is a great journalist. He stood up for me for the last 5 years when nobody else would. Mark, quick question for Mark, please.
A comment, really, just to reinforce to everybody listening, all the journalists, and thank you, by the way, Elon, for unbanning Alex, for everything that you're doing for the platform, for humanity. But I just want to reinforce, and I'm glad you retweeted this, Alex, the reason why Twitter cited Alex being banned, contrary to popular belief, not because he entertained some conspiracy theories about Sandy Hook. It's crazy.
Yeah, let's be clear. We now have levels to everything. And you got your completely mind and heart controlled average citizen slaves. And then you have your underground group of folks who are theorizing and putting things together. And then you have these folks who seem to have come out you know, from left field, part of the system like everyone because they're born into it, never left it completely in their mind and heart, and now are doing promotional ads for it in a sense. So none of you can be trusted. You're all insiders. You're all part of the fascism. None of you observe God's law, rights, and freedom and principles completely. You don't live the information. And you supported Donnie Trump and the rest of the garbage. You can't be trusted. You're dupes and clowns, or you're outright agents. And that's just the way it's going. Prove me wrong, like Mr. Crowder and the rest of you clowns all say. Prove me wrong. I know they got Paulie Boy shadowed in the back channels of YouTube, and it wouldn't matter anyway because the majority of slaves won't listen to somebody if they don't have $1 billion or 1 billion views. And that's fine. I'm cool with that dynamic. It just shows where they're meant to be, right? Where they're supposed to be right now is exactly where folks are in consciousness and awareness first and foremost. So we're perfectly imperfect, perfect exactly where we are because we're right where we need to be. And then there's choice from here on out. So you want to buy into this crap. It's obvious what they're putting forth. The same guy who was yelling New World Order, globalism, technocrats, and all the rest of it is now pushing New World Order globalists and front running them as our heroes. And he's buying into and supporting the technocratic bent, the left brain, overly logical, worldly, supposedly sensible view, which always destroys cultures and civilizations in their quest to overwrite nature. Okay. So maybe the reason why folks are becoming so fucked up when they're born is because of all the chemicals in the environment. Maybe it's because of the thoughts, emotions, and actions of the parents before, during, and after conception. Maybe there's an energetic component and genetic component. Maybe there's a nature and a nurture component, right? Maybe there's a metaphysical component. So you might want to look at that, right? When we look at the curse that's been put intergenerationally, seemingly on humanity, might have something to do with the way we're thinking, feeling, and living day to day, what we're ignoring and not reconciling, coming back to bite us in future generations. So yeah, I just believe the answer is within, not without. Your rockets, your fucking Mars trips, your Neuralink garbage, your crypto coins, none of it's going to save you from yourselves and what the fuck you've created or served. Far from it. It's going to ensconce you and entrance you, and it's going to entertain you, and it's going to envelop you at some point. And that's what it's meant to do. It's an illusion, a mirage, and a deception. Straight from Shaitan, as far as I see it. Let's get back to it. I'm doing too much talking. We got to hear from the experts with all the views and the money while they shadow ban, keep certain folks to the fringes, alter numbers, try to fuck with folks' livelihood and the value that comes in. Right.
As they were, and Elon just confirmed that the Twitter logs said that.
You know, once they do it to Elon or Andy Taint, you see, this is the game in life. Once they do, supposedly in quotes, once they do it to Elon, Andy Taint, and Alex Jones, now we're all supposed to care. Now we're all supposed to back them in their pursuits. No, it doesn't go that way. We're all in the same walk. Doesn't matter how much money each of us or views each of us has. We all have the same self-development, self-growth, self-understanding we have to come to that then leads to understanding of the universe and what we need to do here. Okay. So I'm not interested in folks just waking up and just starting to care and just starting to support something because these three clowns rolled out of bed and started talking. Because we see not one of the three of them, like all of them, usually live their information on the ground. You know, you could argue Andy Taint does to some degree because he went and did the time, but it wasn't for bucking taxes. It wasn't for not getting all the licenses and registrations. It wasn't for standing on rights and freedoms. It was for fucking with a bunch of goofy bitches that broke bad and turned on you, which you should have known because they were attracted to you for your money and fame, and you were attracted to their pussy. You know, like that's never ended badly, right? You know, so yeah. You know, who am I? I haven't gotten to that point in life, in a sense. You know, when it comes to money and fame and attention and opportunities. But I know myself enough to know, seemingly, what many of these paths lead to. It's cliche. So then, you move into that or not. If you do, you don't blame the beast system for setting you up necessarily. That's what they're supposed to do. The Shaitan's supposed to test you and challenge you and teach you indirectly through self-chosen suffering. So if you want to throw parties and have a bunch of money motivated, fame, attention, whore motivated, goofy bitches come around so you can fuck on them, well, you're probably going to have some comeuppance at some point. You're probably going to get tested and challenged. Because, when you don't break them off with a big bag and you don't love them the way their ego thinks they should be loved, they're going to break bad on you and they're going to go to saying you're human trafficking. It's just the way it goes. You guys didn't learn from Donnie and all the rest because they all go through it. So, yeah, I guess you got to up your discernment. Either know who to fuck with, when, why, and how, or cover your bases. Right? Get everything on record. Okay. Get back to the three amigos, as they'll be known.
This. He confronted Oliver Darcy, a public figure on public property, when he was working in the capacity of a journalist, and they cited that as.
But Mark, that's old news. Let's move on from Alex Jones.
Well,
we're talking to Elon Musk. What's your question for Elon Musk?
I didn't see the Twitter file in the Twitter files. Can you release data about the choices that were made regarding the trending list? Because the trending list drives the news cycle, as you know, and they can create a self-fulfilling prophecy by manually inserting topics in there, getting people to talk about them. It becomes a topic. It becomes news. Did I miss that in the Twitter files, or was that just not released? I would like more data on the manipulation of the trending list to manipulate the news cycles over the previous ownership.
Yeah, well, there was a significant manipulation of the trending list, and worldwide. I mean, you can just, I'd say, as a general rule of thumb, whatever conspiracy theory you've got about Twitter is probably true, even more true than you think it is.
Are you taking precautions?
Now,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the path to having a sort of a clean system is maximum transparency. So that's why, for community notes, the software for community notes is completely open source. You can see every line. The data for community notes is completely open source. You can see the data, you can see the logic, and you can independently create the community note conclusion. So you can tell right away if there's manipulation, and there's always going to be with these things.
Well, I believe that this person's speaking about the concept that the reason that they call Generation X is that, or more importantly, I guess they're now saying Generation Z. They have a Z plate and a whole narrative going with that. But I guess the idea was it's one of the last generations, right? So if you have X, well, then you have Y and Z. So I don't know, potentially. I mean, I do find it interesting that all of a sudden Twitter undergoes this change in name and symbolism. This guy takes over, comes out with a Baphomet costume, basically confirming who and what he serves, because they all do that, it seems, at the risk of going deep down the rabbit hole of theorizing, right? They all seem to use the same signs, symbols, numbers, patterns. They all seem to conform to the same ideologies and frame of reference. So, yeah, it seems to be an avatar. If you let this stuff expand enough in your beingness, you start to feel like you're the only conscious and aware being in this universe. It's a slippery slope, right? You start to feel like potentially every being here is a projection of your own mind, because it's not possible that all of them could be in on a conspiracy this large. And it's not possible all of them could be this stupid and or duped to buy into it and continue the same cycles of history indefinitely while claiming to be on the right side of it. It's fascinating. Then one is forced to take an extreme approach to self-awareness and then wonder and or look for how often you're doing this with yourself. Because if you could recognize it in everyone else and they can't recognize it in themselves, there's a hell of a trick that may be going on there. You may be involved in the same activity. So I'm not going to go full Talcott and say no one else exists here. It seems that we're all one self projected down as individuated selves with a body. And we have an ability to respond or react. And it's pretty predictable, right? That's how these avatars can be controlled is, a mere mortal human can, with pretty precise range of certainty, predict what other human beings are going to do with certain stimuli based on certain information they know they hold and other information they know they don't hold, right? Because if you want to create a power differential, you create a differential in information, right? The truest power, as we know, is knowledge. The truest knowledge is knowledge of self. So, a being who has knowledge of self, who keeps others from knowledge of self and keeps them entertained or focused on ignoring self and serving other selves in their quest, it's a perfect combination for enslavement and genocide. And again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So most folks think they're doing good. They think they're their own individuated beingness. They think they're unique and special. They have their own beliefs and ideas. And upon reflection, when we zoom out, we find no, you couldn't run a world or a country if everybody had their own thoughts, their own feelings, and their own ideas. Wouldn't work. The only reason it does work right now is because you can get everybody somehow to vote for left and right or center and never consider the idea of even just not voting, not paying the slave tax, not owing allegiance to any of these corporations, and standing under God's law, doing what's true and what's right, and living in common law and common sense. It's not even an option at this point. The majority of folks are just so mind and heart controlled. So if you step back from it and look at it objectively, right, on a macro cosmic level, it's so clear. We're living in a simulation here. The majority of folks, if not all of us, are avatared. The question is, what are you using or what's using you? You know, where the root of your choices being made from? And then I argue the best thing that we could perceive is fear or faith. Majority of folks are living in fear. That's why they're living a lie. Lies are for folks who fear the truth. If you're living in faith, then you live in the truth, and the fear component of your beingness starts to dissipate. And that's when you step out into inspiration, empowerment, and self-confidence, self-awareness, self-actualization, and realization. And then that's when you become the biggest threat of all to a system that wants to seek, or excuse me, that wants you to continue to seek to validate or verify the lie in which they put forth that you live in. So you could be a very dangerous man to predators and to evil scum by doing little to nothing at all other than observe the truth, speak it, and live it. Very dangerous to their lie that they want to pimp and hoe on you. Okay, I'm going to throw the link again. I'm going to keep throwing that link because why not? I'm going to give you folks the opportunity to step up, stand out, stand on something, speak on something, live your truth, live the truth, and have the conversation if necessary. If not, we'll move right on forward. Do we want more Elon? Yeah, why the hell not? I'll do my little monologues here and there if necessary. A lot of it's probably going to be stuff that we've heard before, spoken about before. Again, a lot of creation is looping when you step back from it. It is repetition. It is repeating the same things seemingly over and over again with little add-ons so that you're not doing the same things and expecting different results. Right? If you're doing certain things and getting good results, well, then you repeat that. All the good things in life are worth endlessly repeating. Let's get to it.
It is not black or white. There's
Mom,
always going to be some degree of manipulation, but you just want to try to put as much sunlight on it. As I say, sunlight's the best disinfectant. You want to have it be as clear and transparent as possible. This will minimize the amount of manipulation. So the more visible something is, the less it is in the shadows, the cleaner it will get. Will not be perfect, but it will be much better than something that.
No, Daisy May. I contend that it wouldn't even matter if folks stopped voting, because the presumption and assumption would be, and the narrative would be set, that everybody did. So the news is never going to tell you how many people showed up and how many didn't. They're just going to project the drama, the soap opera, the debating, and then the outcome. So you could have nobody show up for the polls and they would still say, the polls are hot tonight. we got Biden up 50%. We got this other douchebag down. They'll continue to spin the narrative. They'll continue to pimp on you if you let them. But then it just becomes, hey, check the record. Tell us who voted. Oh, nobody did. Okay. Well, then each individual beingness, separate from even who voted, I don't care if 10 people showed up. I don't care if 99% of America showed up. It doesn't matter to me, right? The point is each individual saying, I'm out. I'm done. You're not going to get me in your jurisdiction of corporatism with your body politic and your political science system, the science of controlling people's mind and heart. That's what government means in Latin. Governare mente means mind control. There's no way around it. Political science is mind control. So it only works if you work it. That's why I say government is a figment of your imagination. It's an act, it's a play. It requires your participation, requires your time, energy, attention, and resources. Without that, it ceases to exist, right? Government is not a monolithic thing. It's a collection of men and women acting on beliefs and other folks acting on those beliefs or not. And again, this is a numbers game. It has to start with the individual and their conviction. It exponentially moves outward, as I've experienced. And then you have one after the next, getting dismissals, having to have different conversations, having to be approached differently, different counties doing away with statute, policy, and code and saying we're only going to live by the law of the land. That's been confirmed. So there is change happening. Change is available. As the Talcottian one says, peace is available. Love is available. But you have to love yourself. You have to care about yourself enough to stand for what's true and what's right. That's the truest form of self-love and self-care and selfless love and care for others, because you can't really love others if you're not being the best version of you. And if you're not standing for rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith, and the law of this land, then you're not the best version of you. So you really don't love yourself. And then you can't really love anyone else truly. And they can't really love you. More importantly, they can't really respect you. See? I'm not as much interested nowadays in how much you love me and how much I love you. I'm interested in the respect factor, because that's what's going to take this thing long game, like anything. You ain't got no self-respect or respect for your fellow man and woman and your countrymen and the law of the land that we're born into and have an obligation to uphold. You're a fucking punk ass coward traitor. Go away from me. I never knew you. The Christed being said that, and you all call him the Prince of Peace. Far from it. That being was far from the Prince of Peace when it came to infidels. I come to bring the peace. I come to bring division. Okay, that's the reality of it. There's a great quickening and unification and opportunity coming forth and solutions happening. There's also a great divide happening, if you haven't noticed, right on time. And there'll be folks crossing over each side of the boundary. I contend once you cross over to the island, you can't cross back over. It's just not possible. Once you know too much or just enough, you can't cross back over. So there'll always be folks taking the raft over to the island that then can't cross back over. And there'll always be folks running up and down the shore saying that they've crossed over. That's the Tao, right? That's the game of conscious awareness from the beginning of time. Fascinating game. So once you cross over, there's no going back, just like they told you in the Matrix. All I offer is the truth, Neo. Here's your red pill. You could take the blue pill and go back. But whoever takes the red pill and then decides to, after that, take the blue pill and go back, nobody. Maybe some do, but once you get it in your blood and in your bones, or more importantly, once you recognize or realize it's already in you, not on you, there's nowhere to go with it but up and out, right? There's nowhere to go except growth and expansion through that understanding and reconciliation. All right, I'm going to continue forward with the Alex Jones nonsense. I don't know how much more I can take. I only get through a minute or two at a time before I start commenting because somebody says something that piques my interest, or I just am spurred to commentary because of the obvious ridiculousness of these events and interactions and experiences. We're going to have to move along, though, at some point here. We got a lot of breaking slave news. World War III is just fucking, off to an amazing start. We got 5 to 10 nations already involved. So it's great. It's working. New world order, civil war, trade wars, currency wars, world wars. and internal wars, more importantly, because you can't have the first 4 or 5 I mentioned without the first war, the war with self, the war between the dark side of self and the war between truth and what's right, the war between fear and faith. That is the pandemic, as far as I can see.
Is hidden.
One other point, I hope that you're making precautions for the possibility of X being banned from the App Store, using it as a save to home screen type of a feature. As you know, that's probably a very real possibility over the next 12 months. But one other thing here, and again, appreciate your time. I would also just politely ask that the InfoWars account and Owen Schroyer and Rob Dew, they're employees of Alex, be unsuspended. They were lumped in with that initial suspension. And maybe I think it's time. I do believe CNN violated the terms of service of harassment. They posted a video a while ago, years ago, showing them harassing a poor old lady because she shared something on Facebook that originated from Russia. And you can see on the house, they show up to her front yard, you can actually see her address, the number plate right on her house. And that's still on Twitter. So,
But Mark, let's not become them. Let's just
Yeah,
take Mark.
exactly.
yeah, I just kind of want to troll them, give them tapes to their own.
Well,
message. But anyway,
I do want to be clear that doxing, which includes revealing the pseudonym of someone. So I want to be clear. Sometimes some publications have claimed that revealing the pseudonym of someone is not doxing when it obviously is, will result in at least a temporary suspension. We will be very reluctant to give permanent suspensions, but we will give temporary suspensions for any kind of doxing activity or anything that endangers the health of another person in a meaningful way. And that includes major publications. That it does not matter who you are. It doesn't matter how big you are or small. I should say this. There is one. We do have a UN exclusion rule, which is that if it's a head of state recognized by the UN, even if they say things that are kind of crazy, which they do, then we don't suspend a head of state. Just for the same reason that the UN allows heads of state to say crazy things at the UN Assembly. But
because we need to hear what everybody has to say.
I was just going to ask, I guess you don't like Nikki Haley's idea of basically doxing everyone?
No, I hate
it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Look, the thing is that a lot of people obviously would face repercussions from their employer or from their government or from some organization if their identity is revealed. And that therefore inhibits the public dialogue. So people, there've been professors who've been suspended for favoriting things on old Twitter. They literally got suspended for just tapping a favorite button. This is so you can say, like, look, if a tenured professor can get suspended from their job for just liking a post on the X platform, then obviously there is some need for people to be able to post things anonymously. Otherwise, they simply will not be able to speak their mind.
Absolutely,
they're losing their job.
It's anti-whistleblower, but I just want to say this because I think the community notes is the best thing ever. Even if somebody says something really horrible, I think there should be some buffer zone to at least let them respond as much as they can before they get banned. Because what I see everywhere is the PR firms will say somebody has said something they didn't say. They create this woke mob response. Then the person's taken down, and then most of the time it's not even true what was claimed.
General?
Yeah. Anyway, we're very much are on the side of freedom of speech, which is really just saying, in America, we're gonna uphold the Constitution of the United States, and that's what we're gonna do, and uphold the laws of the country. And if
right, Elon Tard, you might want to go look at that document again, like many of us have for thousands of fucking hours, and many of us probably haven't looked at it completely or enough to where we have the grasp on it we need to, but we went over this, right? Someone get this to Elon, because with his best researchers and all his money, he can't figure out, by upholding the Constitution, you uphold a dual jurisdiction. That means there's two classes of people. Fuck slave. So either you don't know this or you don't want to know this. I contend you all don't want to know this. It's not that you are too stupid. It's not that you don't have the resources. It's not that no one's told you. You don't want it to be accepted or understood for some reason. Can't quite figure out what the reason is. But you can't uphold the Constitution at this point. Number one, we're not a party to it. They're a party to it because they swear to it. So we use the Constitution to keep them in line. The problem is you got all the documentation and references to show you're a privileged class, and you're bought into the body politic, and you want privileges and benefits like Social Security and on and on and on and on. So you have to correct the status and the record. And then you have to accept they're going to call you a Sov-Sit terrorist because they want everybody within the jurisdiction of United States Corporation and under the clause of public safety, 11th, 14th Amendment. This is what gives rise to the idea of code enforcement and public safety, which is for slaves. Anytime you folks are ready to get with the program, I'm here for you. Daddy's here, right? I'll smoke 10 blunts in the fucking Zoom call with you and Elon, Andy Taint, Alex Jones, all you folks. And I could break it down to you how you've been duped, and you could call me a sob-sit, and we could go to the fucking etymology and the words and terms in the Supreme Court and all the rest of it. We can get the game back in its proper perspective. Then you can use all that fucking money and power and platform to do what needs to be done. Call these people back to their original status and position as men and women of the people, of, by, and for the people. And you're going to have to stop voluntarily entering yourself into the public safety advisory code jurisdiction and essentially making it compulsory under contract. It's advisory code, public law, advisory code until you contract and create the presumption that it needs to be compulsory because you cannot govern yourself and your own affairs, nor can your fellow man and woman. That's obvious and evident. Have you not seen the last 3 years? I could even go further back than that. Obviously, there's one glaring theme on record here. The majority of United States citizen slaves can't manage their own thoughts, emotions, actions, or affairs. They need daddies and mommies. Left, right, center, up, down, middle. That's the overarching theme here. Daddy at church, mommy and daddy at the hospital, mommy and daddy at the public fool system, mommy and daddy at the court to represent you and speak for you, you bitch ass slave. Do you get my point? So when you're a child of the state and you can't manage your own affairs and you can't raise your own motherfucking family and you require public services and benefits and privileges consistently in order to get your life done, you're a child in the mind and heart and spirit, and you're a child of the state, and you did it all through voluntary contract, whether you want to accept it or not. I'm really not interested. The truth cannot be invalidated by the ignorant and arrogant. Cannot be validated nor invalidated, oddly enough, because apparently it cannot be perceived of or understood or accepted. Let's continue with the chimpanzees circling the black monolith in confusion.
Change. We'll then change our behavior to match the laws, and we'll do so. And we also can only match the laws in other countries, because sometimes people will say, "Well, why don't you demand freedom of speech in some other country in the world?" I'm like, well, we don't make the laws in that country, and if we don't adhere to the laws of the country, they will simply cut us off. And so we can't do more than that. So we're basically.
What about the other factors, Elon? Before going to General Flynn, you've got obviously laws, but you got the revenue, still running a business, and you've got external pressure. How do you balance all these when fighting for free speech?
Well, we're gonna obviously favor free speech. I believe my action has been very clear in this regard. That if it is a choice between money and freedom, we will pick freedom.
General.
Yeah, thank you, Mario. Thanks for hosting this thing. You're doing a wonderful job. This is really a question for Alex and Elon, a statement. And I wish Andrew and Vivek were still on. But we've talked about these different sort of array of forces between the globalists and the humanists, or whatever the right descriptors are. Yeah, what I would really like to see, and I would love to hear Vivek's take on it, because I think he's such a wonderful debater. I'd like to know if there's a possibility to set up a intellectual debate between, the Alex Jones, Elon Musk, Andrew Tate, Vivek, probably throw Tucker in there. Maybe there's Joe Rogan, against an intellectual debate against the Klaus Schwab's, the Bill Gateses of the world, and then there's others.
They
in
won't
that
do it
category.
because we'll kill them.
Well,
General, it's a great
see,
idea.
We won't do it because those are the brightest minds we have. That's it. That's the brightest minds we have. Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, right? And we're going to have a real worldly left brain intellectual debate. Yeah, you're not going to have a spiritual metaphysical debate. You're not going to have a conceptual debate. You're not going to have an etymological debate. You're going to have one of your intellectual institutionalized debates with a bunch of chimpanzees and genes who claim to be the highest level pinnacle of conscious and awareness and observance. It's fucking laughable. Okay? This is the world they want you all living in, where you're cheerleaders of these boys and they're representing you. If it's not your slave system representing you, it's clowns like this. And they're the pinnacle of thought, conscious and awareness, and truthing, right? And theorizing. They got it all down. You know, they can't figure out legal and lawful. They can't figure out self-knowledge, conscious and awareness, psychology and sociology, spirituality, theology. They can't figure any of that out. You know, but they could tell you how, you know, we're probably better off we're voting for Republicards than Demotards. They're really bright people, these people. You know, Elon thinks we make law, right? He thinks human beings sit around and make law. You don't. It's already in the universe. You apprehend it through conscience. There's your local transmitter. Then you put it into action in your customs. You create customs with your people for the people who live on that land. And through common custom comes common law. Used to be a common custom, rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith. That's what made the common law of this land great. Common law is an archetypal, foundational understanding based on universal law. It's also movable through common practice and common parlance in whatever time you're living in. So the common law may not be founded on true common law principles because common customs influence the accessing or the implementation of the true common law foundational understanding of universal law, because it's common to all men and women on all parts of the world to not lie, cheat, steal, and cause harm to other motherfuckers. And if it's not, it should be, because they'll tell me, you know, these subjective moralists, that doesn't exist. That's not real. We made that all up. Okay. Till it's done to you. Then you'll be whining and crying how it shouldn't have happened, right? So there you go. You know, do unto others as you would have done unto you. That's the golden rule for a reason, because it reveals universal law, which is common law, which is not common practice in a Tower of Babel society worldwide that follows corrupt misleaders and worldly intellectual left brain scum. Get it? Anyone else out there still not getting it? Because I could clarify more if necessary. Trying to help out here. I'm helping. This is my version of helping.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, this is how we fight today, right? We are fighting in an information domain. Andrew, you know, I wish he was still on because I'd love to hear his take. Because, you know, Andrew starts to imply, and there's a lot of people that imply this. You know, we're going to move to something that we don't want to, a place that we don't want to be because of this. Frankly, what I see is a globalist takeover, and I'm all with you, Alex, and you and I have talked about this a lot. But what I would really like to see is an intellectual debate and a challenge, you know.
Yeah, I want to see an intellectual challenging debate between a tard who can barely talk, who's wide-eyed and looks coked up all the time, and socially autistic, drinking Diet Coke. His brain is so ossified, right? Yeah, I'd like to see the debate with him, the guy who names his child XAEA12. Worldly left brain intellectual rocket tard. Another rocket man slave, burning out his fuel out there alone. How does it feel to be so lonely in life with all that money and power and fame and all your great equations? Laugh at these folks. That's why they have to get together now with their other buddies. They're so meaningless and purposeless in themselves and in their life. Doesn't matter what they fucking do and achieve. They could go to Mars. He'll still be biting his nails, neurotic, insecure, doing equations, naming his children bizarre things that make us look at him like he's even more of a tard than we already do when he shows up. Right. This is the common fucking man nowadays. Complete inauthentic corporate beta male hooked on a dozen different fucking things at least that are all destroying him and claiming to be the pinnacle of consciousness and awareness while building rockets and trying to go to Mars and can't fucking get a community together. Can't put a landscape together, you know? Can't resurrect some kind of a communal, economic, prosperous event. Like, why? This is what's amazing to me is it's going to be us, people. The meek shall inherit the earth. Elon's not going to do it. Andy's not going to do it. Alex is not going to do it. Paulie Boy's going to go do it with Ramiro and Clayton and maybe a few others. That's the bottom line. We're going to go do it. The meek shall inherit the earth. We stay humble before the creational force and the truth. We may not be humble before other bitch-ass motherfuckers who want to use their ego to control and dominate. May or may not be, right? But in front of that force and the truth, absolutely. It's all we have. Ultimately, equity and trust, the maxims of law, or the foundation of law, rather. So, yeah, I mean, I would suggest folks not waste their time, energy, attention, worried about anybody in this realm and what they're doing, thinking, feeling, and building for you. Get back to thinking, feeling, doing, building for yourself with others around you who see the vision. If not, let go of them. Because they're going to hold you down, like they say on the streets. I'm here to hold you down. No, that's not a positive thing, right? I don't need other motherfuckers to keep me grounded. That process is supposed to happen within self and that force. More Elon, they say. They want more Elon.
I mean, otherwise,
Elon.
because 2024
Elon's
is
got
going to
electric
be for the
trucks that look
United
like
States,
shit.
it's going to be a historically consequential moment.
Anybody seen this new fucking electric truck that Elon just put out? It's pure shit. It looks terrible. There's fucking Matchbox cars from the 90s that look 10 times better than this piece of shit that this fucking tard just put out. Get a clue. And they're going to pay $80,000 for this fucking big boxy hunk of metal because it can ride you 200 miles with an AI robot. You're such a pathetic, lazy, unresponsive slave. Could you imagine a society? They're so fucking fat and lazy and unresponsive that now they want to just pile into a big fucking box truck, hunk of metal, with full of batteries waiting to explode, by the way, just to only be allowed to go 80 to 200 miles at a time before they need to take 6 hours to recharge and not even be able to control the fucking thing. This is where American males have gone to. Not only does the thing look like shit, it sounds like shit. I'm sure it performs like shit if you really get down to it. And the whole idea is just so you can fucking get ridden around and feel like you got an AI chauffeur. Oh, haven't you arrived? And you can fucking talk to the screen and play little games on your way to work and wherever you got to go, your slave box. Yeah. You don't even have to watch the road. And then there was 3 to 5 of those things over the past couple of years, at least that made the news. Fucking went off into the opposite lane, crashed into somebody, rolled over. And then they're crying, I don't give a fuck. You get Elon's tanker truck, and you're doing 100 miles an hour down the highway, AI robot, you're eating a full meal, playing little games, Candy Crunch on the fucking, they got like a 35-inch screen in these fucking Teslas. So you could just sit back and play Candy Crunch and order fucking UberX Eats, and just be a consuming slave, just constantly unresponsive, irresponsible, unaccountable consumption slave. Little game playing consumption slave. It's fascinating. You ever go to an airport nowadays? I'm glad they banned me from flights. Honestly, you ever go to one of these fucking places at this point? Everybody's just like fucking lost and broken. They just look confused, right? They all got the hair and the attire and the little bag and everything, but you just look at them and they just every one of them fucking stuck to a phone and a screen, some tard like Elon. One day Elon's son, Tard Jr., AEX125, he's going to wake up one day and hate his father for what he's done and what he's named him, and he's going to go shoot up a fucking airport. Hypothetically. I'm not claiming that. They'll try to take me down for saying that. He's going to get up one day and he's going to go shoot up an airport, and 200 slaves are just going to get hit from the side because they got their head stuck to a screen. They're so fucking hypnotized and lost and broken. They got like headsets in. I just did this just now. I can't hear anything. You know, this is how they walk around in life. I gotta take my hands out. Can't do it. Go to the airport, they're stuck to the screen. They got things in their ears. They can't see, hear. Many of them can't feel. There's no intuition. I go, oh my God, I got to get out of here. I start remembering, oh my God, I'm unarmed because they fucking searched me and they slaved me. I'm not allowed to be armed. You know, and I'm surrounded by inauthentic, broken, confused, weak, cowardly, lost beta males. And it's only a matter of time before someone, crashes through these doors whose father drinks 10 Diet Cokes a night and named him something after a rocket equation and really just has his way with all of us. And I can't be there. Right? They'll say it's paranoia. I say it's natural intuition. You know, it's the natural animal intuition we've lost. We put ourselves in so many threatening, unsafe, bizarre situations because everyone else just does it. You know, and then you get the news report. Oh my God, we never could have seen this happen. 4,000 migrants just stormed the airport, took all the beta male shoes and luggage. I could have seen that happening. You know, 200 African Americans just stormed a Target, took purses, laundry detergent, whatever wasn't nailed down. Who could have imagined this? I could have imagined this. My father was very racist growing up, and he used to tell me, you got to worry. You got to watch these people. They're going to come over the hill any moment and take what all us white people have. I go, I think that you're projecting a little bit. Turns out some of it was true. Okay. Dad, are you down there? Dad? Hello? All right, let's move on. Get back to it was a little bit of stream of consciousness there at the end. I'm working through some things. Me and my father. Daddy chill, right. That may or may not have been a true story.
Daddy chill.
Right. Okay. Man, snafu creatures down there. Snafu creature, what the hell have you been up to? Get up here. Okay. Get up here. Give me the good word. I know you're probably fighting with the whole metaverse at this point. He's got a list of offenders this week who've done wrong on panels. Spends his whole life monitoring panels. We don't know how he makes a living. We don't know where he lives. We don't even know how he survives. You know, at all, really. We don't know who he's mating with. We don't know anything, but he's here every day, all day. He's constantly monitoring everyone on here, and he's always got a new list of offender. Very strange people you meet doing this, whatever this is. Interesting. We won't call them strange. Interesting people. Okay. So they want more Elon. They need more Elon. Fuck it. I don't even care if they want it. They need it.
In history, and I would prefer that we extraordinary session that I've been listening to for the last couple of hours here, and I would really like to hear at least Alex, because you're on, and I think Elon's still on. What do you think about setting up some type of intellectual debate, or at least array
on X? On X,
yeah,
while doing it through Spaces.
Well, on like X, on X or however, I would love to see them come on X to do this because this would be wonderful.
Would you, Alex, would you be open? You and Elon, would you be open for such a debate?
Well,
Elon's a genius.
I'm chomping at the bit here, and then Elon will take over. It should be on X. They had the last Republican debate, and it had like 5 million viewers. This is going to have 50 million viewers. We keep acting like dinosaur media even still matters. It should only be held on X. And I would love to see it in this format or with an added video component to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
challenge their intellectual ideas.
So
I'm sorry.
it's coming soon.
And that's my point. That's my point. We have to challenge their.
Whoever this fucking guy is like the moose of this panel. Does anyone find it ironic now that all of your richest, most powerful people are paneling? So, like, I started a trend. We started a trend here because now Elon and Alex Jones and Andy Taint, they're all copying us. And this guy, whoever this is, he's the moose of their panel. Right? Very effeminate voice, high voiced, very animated. Thinks he's got some answers. It's going nowhere. Snap Creature, how are you, sir?
Hi, Dada. How are you?
I'm blessed, sir. In the
Good.
valley of the shadow of death, I'm blessed.
Ah, good. The optics are high, by the way.
Are they?
Yes. Now we got host date admitting he's Fed tied, Proud Boy chapter tied. I got a surprise for you in your backstage. Hold on. I'm going in your backstage. I'm warning you ahead of time. It's going in the back door.
All right, I'll prepare.
You're right. These people just tell on themselves as I squeeze out of your back door. They just tell on themselves. So when
Okay,
all you
let's hear it.
motherfuckers,
I'm getting right to it. I'm getting right to it.
The only reason that probably 70% of the Proud Boys from my chapter who went to January 6th were there, the only reason is because they got driven there. I mean, maybe they would have found their own ways, but yeah, all this stuff was facilitated by.
Doesn't it always come out in the wash, snap, warthog creature? This is why I say my warthog creature will root you up. Okay? So now we have Boshene, we have the pathetic warrior, and we have Hostate, all tied to supposed federal agent groups, con men, frauds, dupes, detractors. Doesn't surprise me at this point. I've told you, this is why they say that I'm a loose cannon and that I'm just like you. I'm paranoid. I may be. My paranoia has kept me right where I need to be, if you want to call it that. So why is it all these people always wind up in the same groups, in the same places, tied to the same organizations with the same intent for me, by the way, to hang around me, to try to buddy next to me, to get information from me, to speak to me privately even, right? To undo me and my presentment, to cast doubt upon what I'm putting forth, to say I'm lying and that I've bought my way everywhere and that I'm part of the system. Maybe that is you. Maybe the majority of you are getting an extra 500 to 1,000 a month because you have no work ethic. You're not successful at anything. We don't know how many of you live. Maybe you're getting an extra 5 to 1,000 a month to do whatever it is you do. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. These folks have tons of resources and tons of folks who need to work off cases. Every one of these folks has a criminal past that gets uncovered. Every one of them has open cases and charges. I contend they're all working them off. And I contend possibly, I'm saying possibly, I contend possibly there's a division or a group that does media all day, every day, and takes regular old drug addicts and losers and failures and gives them funding or ideas. It's potential to me. I know it sounds crazy to me as I'm saying it. But again, it's either that or I'll do you one better. I found the universe is so synchronistic, it doesn't even have to be that because they're an agent of something else. So somehow or another in this hologram, if it's not a direct correlation, there's correlation and causation written into the fabric of this experience. So somehow these folks are always found in the same groups, doing the same things and treating me the same way and trying to do the same things to me or with me, and then scurrying off at some point, not to be seen. Very strange, you know. Slave caught another one who claims he had multiple federal charges, terrorism and all the rest of it. Lives in a house for 5 years, says it's going to get taken. It's been another year. He said it's going to get taken again. I contend he's going to find himself in that house again, and he's going to claim God did it, and he's going to say all you need is love.
Right in front of the fireplace, right?
And he's going to get X amount of more dupes to follow him and cycle and spin in nothingness and detract from folks like me. And that's all it's meant to do. So whether it's a corporate agent or a spiritual agent, they're all working toward the same idea and ends. They're all found together. They all respond and react the same way, and they all have the same root motivations and intentions and outcomes when they deal with me. And they can't understand it. How I could be so consistent, how I could not waver, and how I could not have any ins in the armor of God in this circle, doing what's true and what's right, no matter how much I care about my fellow man and woman, or how much I think it may be beneficial and advantageous to work with them. They can't understand it. So whatever this is that sends them at me, I know it's flummoxed. Can't believe Paulie Boy stands tall over and over again, that there's no intention or motivation outside of the original principle, that he's unwavering, right? And completely responsible and accountable, spiritually faithful. I know that it eats him up inside, the individuals and whatever organization they work for, spiritual or corporate.
Henrik Ibsen. And he says, the strongest man upon the earth is he who stands most alone. I need no group. Truth doesn't need your support. You don't need to be in a group to support truth. Truth is on its own paramount.
Yeah, it's very interesting how this is why I say it's probably a spiritual dynamic. I've been proven wrong in this aspect, but I try to mitigate my paranoia and ego by saying I'm not that important. Why would anybody be spending so much time, energy, attention, resources fucking with me? And I've been proven over and over again that's not true. I am valuable. I am important. My word is inspiring and powerful. It's not my word, it's the word. The way that I bring it adds a little something to it. So they've confirmed to me that I am valuable and powerful because I never saw myself that way. And just moving into this way, just like the Christed being, you start to see how all of them start to show up, and the tests and the challenges and the rest of it. So it's meant to be that way. It's meant to show you more about yourself. That's how you gain self-knowledge. That's how you gain self-actualization, realization, and confidence, is by having to step out into faith. Because it seems at times everyone and everything is coming against you, but there is no negative outcome once you get through it, right? So it almost forces you to become faithful in the truth and what's right, and that becomes all you have because it serves you so well in all types of good and bad situations, times of trouble. You were going to say something there, Snap Creature?
Yeah, I just now the optics of all you little fuckers watching why Mr. Flo was trying to set up Mr. Unslaved to get certain information and documentation and blah 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 blah. But isn't it interesting until we put
That's
some
why he kept
pressure on-
calling me a liar about the value, because he wants to. I ascertained at a certain point strategically he was trying to get me indicted, and I explained to him, number one, I'm well within the guidelines of gifts per individual. If you want to bring statute, policy, and code in, everything is friends and family. Everything is private. He argued about each step with me privately. He was trying to get me indicted, and I saw it a mile away.
Well, I mean, isn't it funny that just until now he's going to say, "Oh yeah, I have a chapter. I'm in the Proud Boys. The feds put us there." Out of his own mouth. I mean, you guys heard it himself.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing, bro. I don't have income and revenue. I don't do business. Everything is based on a gift basis, and you can't say that motherfuckers aren't allowed to gift me if they see value in who and what I am.
There was reasons why he was putting pressure on you and trying to cut.
I saw it a mile away. I even sent him something that was fake to watch what he did with it, and he put it all out in the public. And he tried to push the issue even more after he acted like he wasn't going to do nothing like that. So I played him. I go. I just sent a picture. I didn't even say nothing. I just sent him a kissy face, right?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing.
He ran with it. Yeah, he immediately ran with it. So
yeah, I saw the whole thing.
Like, yeah, bro, all's fair in love and war in a sense, you know. And it doesn't mean that I lie in my relationships or in love or really anywhere. But if you think that I won't throw something out there to see if you're going to bite on it, I absolutely will.
No, I get a reading on you. But that's the discernment thing. That's the discernment that you kind of called this without saying it to everyone, which I already knew what you were saying. I knew what you were saying, you know, blah, blah. But my whole thing is there's more connections and webs than you even understand. How come Whole State didn't want to mention this when he first started up, huh? Huh?
Huh?
Huh?
Whole State. I mean, come on, man. You look at these people and know something's up.
Huh?
You just look at these fucking people and you can see like something's up, man. Huh? That's Snafu Ross right there.
Huh?
Right.
Huh? Hey, did you see the monkey that ripped the dude's head off? Not like off, but took a good chunk of head off of him?
No.
Kind of remind me of the gorilla, how you could be sitting on someone's lap and the next thing you know,
right. Wow. You know what? Again, I wish Host State and the rest of them well. I look forward to further tests and challenges and games. I love the game. I have to because you folks just love to play. So I love the game of life, and we're in life together. And you play your games, and I'll respond accordingly. Right. So yeah, there's nothing to get me caught up on because I don't do anything wrong. Um, and I know who and what I am and what I'm not. And I know what my responsibilities and obligations are. Right. And the bottom line is I don't make any claims on record that are going to cause me to endure liability legitimately, far as I could tell. So, yeah, folks always have an opportunity to come test and challenge me, question me, try to put something on record with their beliefs, and we're going to hash it out till the end. That's going to be that. And I'm not belligerent, I'm not combative, but the truth will prevail. So, you know, uh, also too, if you're gonna get me caught up, you got to send somebody better than pathetic warrior Boshane or Hostate, whoever, whatever that is. Yeah, you got to do better than that. Give me some credit. I'm a pretty sharp guy. Even with all the reefer, I'm a pretty sharp guy. So I like to think. Kind of a subjective statement because I'm me, I guess. Your thoughts, wizard creature, in general, before we move forward? You got anything that you feel the need to report?
Just find it kind of interesting. You know, we have that group mentality showing its face again, and the main principle is you have to be able to stand on your own before you can put any support into a group. The chain's weakest link is the strength of the whole chain. Don't you get it?
Yeah, man. Like you start to realize when people start seeing you doing better for yourself and in your life, and different forms of value start coming about, they start hating. They start getting greedy and desperate. They start backbiting. They start getting desperate to work with other folks to undo that, right? Or take a piece of who you are, what you have. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I don't advocate living in fear by any means, but you got to have discernment and you got to be a bit strategic. And it starts to come naturally by reading people and who and what they are, what they say, and then realizing their intention and motivation. You could still get tricked out of position. If someone's really good at what they do, you're never going to know it till the end. But a lot of these folks ain't that good. What's going on here? Okay, Jackie G. Thank you for your contribution, Jackie G. 100 Holy Days of Enslavia. Continuing. No message there that I could see. Oh, we have breaking news here. Hold on. Breaking news, people. Gotta get to this quick, wizard creature. No time to waste. Okay. All right, work with me here, people. Okay, so yeah, we got an update on the spy balloon. Yeah, we got to get to that, wizard creature.
So NBC News is reporting the secret U.S. effort to track, hide, and surveil the Chinese spy balloon. That's the headline inside of the article. It has the following quote. It says, before it was spotted publicly, there was the intention to study it and let it pass over and not ever tell anyone about it. They weren't paying attention. So the Biden administration wasn't going to share with the American public the existence of the spy balloon. There just seems to be more to this story than we understand. As I look at this and I try to analyze why would they have taken this approach, it's either, yes, they did want to study it, and that's why they were going to let it fly. They had some ability to limit the amount of intel it could gather, or they were just highly embarrassed by the entire situation and wanted to hide it in that way. I just can't figure out why they would have chosen the path they chose. Is there an explanation that we haven't yet discussed on the way this went down with the spy balloon?
well, there are certainly things you ought not share with the American public, but only temporarily for their safety and concern. For example, a Chinese spy balloon floating over the east coast of the United States. But what the Pentagon quickly discovered was that this was in fact something entirely different than what we initially suspected. So U.S. Naval Aviation Intelligence revealed this was no spy balloon at all, but a promotional balloon belonging to a suspected sovereign citizen and YouTube personality, Paul Unslaved. Now, after more observation, our reconnaissance determined this balloon was deployed as a sort of form of marketing strategy for him to grow his YouTube channel, which has already gained several thousand subscribers in just the last several months alone.
See, I try to tell you guys didn't believe me. I told you yesterday. They brought up that spy balloon. They didn't want to tell the real story. The real story was it obviously wasn't a Chinese spy balloon. They got all types of ways they could spy now without releasing the balloon. I did that. Okay.
And that's coming from Mike Pompeo, folks. You know it's true there.
Fucking Mike Pompeo was right. This is the thing, bro. They don't believe anything, these people. You could show them the whole world on a silver platter. They don't believe anything. Right? So again, Elon told you it looks so fake, it's got to be real. With the convertible flying through space, people thought that was fake. Okay? So, listen, they never want to give me credit for anything. All this shit that I do and invent and recreate or run with and make it better, and they didn't want to let people know about the promotion. So they try to cover it up. Oh, there's a Chinese spy balloon. Bullshit. Right? So I had to come out with it. It's not right. Ultimately, I didn't do anything illegal anyway. So there you have it, folks.
I'm gonna wonder right now before we go any further if they're gonna tag this as a sovereign citizen video.
Some internal informants, because this channel contains some very harmful misinformation that could potentially be broadcast to the public. And so YouTube, with the help of these informants and their cooperation with the FBI, has already managed to strike his first channel and get it shadow banned, which has in turn kept the public safer by effectively censoring or preventing possible anarchist or even terroristic material from influencing them. So it's understandable why the Biden administration wanted to keep this a secret, as to try and maybe protect the general welfare and safety of United States citizens and United
Every
States
time
interests.
they say the same shit every time.
I believe the main reason this knowledge was kept secret so long was due to sheer embarrassment from the Biden administration for having even let this kind of thing happen without the prior awareness of U.S. intelligence. And furthermore, I don't think that under a Trump administration, the White House would have been nearly as hesitant and indecisive about at least letting Americans know what's going on over their own homeland, albeit very concerning news. So just keep trusting your government. We've got this under control, and keep paying your taxes, and just know anyone who does listen to proper instruction, motivates people, will likely be kept under close monitoring on a DHS watch list. And I just think, the United States citizens already have enough problems thanks to the Biden administration to be worrying about things like free travel or jeopardizing their safety and freedom by joining this dangerous online movement, which threatens the security of the United States as we currently know it. Oh, and by the way, Pentagon intelligence did officially release a photo of an actual Chinese balloon that was intercepted just recently. But as it turns out, there's nothing to worry about. It was just Panda Express's new delivery system transporting some Kung Pao chicken for President Biden's weekend lunch.
Oh, all right. Well, there you have it. Always new developments, man. And I told you guys, you didn't believe me yesterday when I said I'm gonna get that footage. I'm gonna loop that footage up of Fox Noise giving the first coverage they gave that they then swept under the rug of my advanced promotional marketing prowess and genius once again. So great stuff, retrieving that clip. Cotflix on it again. Amazing journalist and researcher, going to the annals, the archives, and digging up the hard-hitting facts that many folks don't want to concede to. And I know it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that I had my way with national security once again. Just little old me. Your thoughts, Wizard Creature, before we move forward. We got to get back to breaking slave news, and of course, cops shooting citizen slaves. What I like to call servants nowadays. We flip roles.
Well, yeah, I was almost waiting for Pompeo to just bend over and point to his ass, say, "Here you go."
Yeah, that wasn't right about Pompeo coming right out and saying that I'm a Sovsit and a terrorist, and that like he pretty much admitted he did admit that he shadow banned me. So there's the proof too for slow state and arrest. They
Well,
couldn't
yeah, and
tell
if
with the
he really,
numbers.
yeah, and if you really thought you was a Sovsit, why aren't you in jail? Isn't that what they do with Sovsits? They put them in jail. I mean, wrap them up in January 6th type events and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's what the
wasn't doing
true
none of that.
Sovsit is, isn't it?
I was home that day smoking weed and masturbating, and I'm pretty sure that's still legal. So I had nothing to do with January 6th or any of that. I don't want to overthrow anybody. I'm promoting slavery and genocide for slaves. I just don't want it done to me and other free men and women who stand for what's true and what's right. Okay. Snafu Creature wants a link. Go ahead, give it to him. Why not?
You can't go through history and pull up his channel. I mean, you people are slow.
What does that mean?
Well, if he clicked out, all he should have to do is go to his history and pull up his history.
Yeah,
and
he's
click
not
on the
that
link.
bright. Leave him alone. What's up, Snap Creature?
I told them all. They didn't want to believe me when I said there's a lot of things going on in the background, and now they fucking seen the truth, yo. The balloon, the Enslavia, your marketing fucking plan that was unveiled. But the fact is Conflicts is on it, both journalism and expertise in video A. And he even dubbed Snafu Dub for you. So it is what it is.
Did we get to that, or is that something else?
Oh, it's just for your. He sees the truth, yo. This is what all these fucktards who didn't want to believe me fucking probably are thinking right now. It's in your backs. I guarantee all these fuckers who didn't want to believe it, now they've seen it. Now they can believe it. And why was Pompeo being such a D-hole to you?
Why was who?
Pompeo. He was talking some mad.
Well, I mean, you have to expect that. They're always going to demonize me and write me up to be a Sovsit terrorist and somebody who's crazy and wild because, they got to run their political science games. It is what it is.
Well,
they're pimping. You got to respect their
you
pimping.
guys had that dinner, and I thought things were okay last time you guys interacted.
Well, I mean, behind the scenes, we all have an understanding, but, when the lights go on, the bright lights of show business, they got to put on, man. They got to pimp and mac a little bit. So they got to throw me under the bus and call me a terrorist to, get
I was
citizen
surprised. Like,
slaves.
Big Pomp, what are you doing? But fuck.
Yeah, it's part of the game, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, you
That
can't
makes
hate the
sense.
player. You got to hate the game. The slaves want to be pimped on. In order to be pimped on, they got to be lied to. So Pompeo's got to lie a little bit about me. They all got to lie a little bit about me and make me look crazy and scary to get the slaves to vote and act. It's part of the game, bro.
I see now. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not down on it. All right, let's move on. Snap Creature. Do you want more Elon? Do you need more Elon in your life?
I put the dub in your backstage. This is what all them fuckers are thinking that didn't believe us when we told them to believe, but now they see it.
Da 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 blah blah blah. Da 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 blah blah blah. Da 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 blah blah blah. My life be like. My life be like. Da 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 da.
Right. Yeah, no, we got to that one before.
Exactly. What's up in the breaking news?
All right, let's get to breaking news. You're right. Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Gates' alleged emails reveal creepy conversation. Snafu snaps. As of a day ago, let's hear about that.
Investigative journalist Li Fang wrote yesterday, Epstein sent many rambling emails suggesting projects with Bill Gates. Asked to prep presentations for new Gates-backed foundation, $100 million minimum investment expanding on exchanging prior Gates-related interests like vaccines and maternal care. In one of those emails from February 25th, 2011, Epstein reportedly wrote, Gates guy here today. No reporters. I took care of that. Stay calm and focused. We need to speak. I am staying until very late tonight. Seeing Gates read donor on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday set aside for 2-3 hours to discuss exactly this.
This comes as more information on Epstein's dealings are coming to light amid JP Morgan's fresh accusations over ties to the accused sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, so these are, filings from this JP Morgan Virgin Islands lawsuit. So just more and more emails from JP Morgan officials, Epstein talking about it, just the all the influential, important people with lots of money that Epstein was connecting to government officials at the island, to the bank as well. His ongoing kind of relationship with Gates, which is, these messages to Gates people are 2011. So that's after he's already a known sex offender. He's been convicted. He got his house arrest or whatever kind of deal he got for sexual misconduct with underage girls. So you can't say, "Oh, I didn't know." It was known. It was known by then. There's some joking about Miley Cyrus, who at the time of this is 15. She's a Disney star at the time.
Okay, so let's not forget the big detail here that of course Billy was the one pushing all the last 3 years. Turns out what happened a while ago where he blamed his maid for having all the pee he was pushing on his computer. He said that person took the responsibility for it, right? And then we had the Melinda interview, the supposed wife, who said it was really weird and creepy, Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein's relationship, and that she didn't really know. She kind of knew, but didn't. She knew enough to know it was creepy, but knew little when it came to court, I guess. So, she had left him because of that. So, yeah, very interesting how the guy who's on Epstein Island doing pedo pogo activity is the guy on the news everywhere pushing all of the treatments that everybody needs to take for their safety, right? Uncle Bill is what I call him. You were saying, Steph, you were hollering there and grunting?
Yeah, I was just saying, with the land purchases and remember, let's not forget the million trillion hypodermic needles flying everywhere, started in Florida, genetically coded hypodermic needles, so to speak, flying mosquitoes.
Snafu creature. There's no way you could have known this, but this is synchronistic. Watch this. Where is it? Where is it? One of today's top stories, Snafu creature. Outbreak. Rare outbreak. Mosquito-borne snafu creature. You
Thank God it's winter.
You remember when we covered here that the Gates creature was releasing all the robotic mosquitoes?
And remember the commercial was the Grim Reaper, the subliminal New World Order messaging. But what I wanted to point out with the Gates thing real quick is they're bringing up the Gates thing. They're bringing up the Epstein Island thing. They're even talking about Julian Assange. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because they're focusing off the transition of power with this, the migrants joining law and policies. The United Nations is making more moves than you probably even know. There's a lot of things. So all this stuff with the
Hold on, Snafu creature. This person's saying conspiracy theorist clowns. So now it's a conspiracy theory that Billy came out, said we're releasing.
Do you remember?
Robotic...
I'll pull up the commercial. The commercial where it showed the Grim Reaper and they were promoting Mosquito Week.
Hold on, Larry's down there. Larry Pullett Silverstein is down there, who made a bundle off that insurance money. Go get him, Larry. It's good to see him down there. Larry,
dude, I've been talking about Gates' dumb little dude. What, Larry? See, Larry probably the frogs are gay, dude.
Right. Okay, let's go. Since you brought it up, we'll segue and then we'll jump back. Rare mosquito-borne disease. 2 to 10 days of quarantine you're going to need for this one. Just start breaking out.
On news, Argentine health authorities have
and Billy's totally not behind this. I'm not saying that. Some folks might say that. I'm not saying
or WEE. This is the first confirmed human case reported after more than 2 decades. And the last human case were reported.
Hey, remember the time that Billy brought a mosquito to the TED conference, released it in the room, and laughed and said, "I'm releasing a malaria mosquito in the room with everyone." Ha ha ha. And everyone was like, "What?" He's like, "I'm just kidding."
You know what? I put the link in the in your backstage. I know I keep going in and out your back. Sorry. But the fact is,
Well,
this was on Bill Gates' YouTube channel, official YouTube channel, Bill Gates. This was during Mosquito Week. And if you look at the subliminal messaging, not only are these the 1,000 hypodermic needles flying around, but the Grim Reaper in a setting of desolation and isolation. The subliminal messaging is all here, guys.
Well, and you can't say it's a conspiracy theory when you look it up on the internet. You find such
This is Bill
profound
Gates'
abundance,
official YouTube channel.
such profound abundance of the topic, and he admits it in many different ways. Don't call it a conspiracy theory. It's a fact.
It's a conspiracy, really, sir.
Gates notes. See, Billy's on it. Billy said there's going to be more pandemics to come, going to be more biologicals, and
Billy Bob.
One quote from Bill Gates. One quote from Bill Gates.
Excuse me. So it's over 2 years ago that he's releasing the TED Talks and the rest of it, releasing mosquitoes and saying they're going to take people down, and creating Mosquito Week on Gates Notes, where he shows the mosquitoes as Grim Reaper. Go ahead, folks.
Well, a quote from Bill Gates in December of 2022, just a year ago. We have projects operating in 14 countries, and our Wolbachia mosquitoes have protected almost 11 million people. So it's not that it's any kind of conspiracy theory. It's in 14 countries, admittedly, and
Right. But the thing is you missed where some folks would say those mosquitoes are harming people. He told you they're protecting people. So those mosquitoes that are being released are for safety. Those are safety mosquitoes.
Right. And you'll also notice the verbiage is our Wolbachia mosquitoes. He is claiming that they created these mosquitoes. Obviously.
For safety, though. That's the thing. You're not mentioning the safety part. Your thoughts, Snafu Creature? All right, let's get back to it. We got to run through these. Easy,
Well,
Snafu
just remember
Creature.
the top scientists have.
No. That's why I said easy, Snafu Creature, because I knew what you were going to do. As soon as I get back to it, you're going to penile power me and try to drag me back out into the deep waters with you. I know what you're doing. We got to run through these. Creepy Bill Gates Epstein.
So that's a clear inclination of an awareness of exactly the kind of thing Epstein goes for. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I think
Very
it's
disgusting.
It's a bit of a lens into what the world is like for bankers in America at the very high level. The emails that Li Fong posted to Twitter, you have one from a Mary Erdoes at jpmorgan.com, official email to an unknown person saying, obviously they're at a party. This is, really late at night. The first email is about 8:30. This has turned into a cheesy broker fest. Totally not cool. The only cool people here are at Glenn's table, same as bat mitzvah. So maybe they've known each other for some time. The response is at 1:20 a.m. Epstein there with Miley Cyrus. And so this is like official JP Morgan emails where this exchange is happening. Was Epstein actually there with Miley Cyrus? We don't know. But the fact that they made the joke shows that these bankers on their JP Morgan emails are comfortable joking about the billionaire being out with young girls.
They were comfortable joking about a lot of really sketchy stuff. We've read these emails in the past talking about who's your favorite Disney princess. It suggests, a deep familiarity with the kind of bad and illegal stuff that Jeffrey Epstein was interested in and had already been convicted for, would eventually be arrested for again. Yet right up until the very end, I've talked about this several times, but I think it's always worth bringing up, including given her, recent crusade, the higher media profile she has sought for herself as part of the pushback from Democrats on Twitter files and on RFK Jr. Stacey Plaskett, the delegate of the Virgin Islands, has been front and center at these hearings, accusing, Matt Taibbi of perjury, accusing RFK Jr. of anti-Semitism. Stacey Plaskett, delegate of the Virgin Islands, trying to get Jeffrey Epstein at her fundraisers as recently as 2018, I believe, the year before he was arrested again and then died in allegedly because of suicide in prison.
Yeah.
This was someone with full knowledge and awareness of.
Yeah, allegedly everyone's tied in. Allegedly he died from suicide. Big surprise. Russ are feeding back.
Greetings.
Feeding back. All right.
I'll try to leave and come back.
Probably not going to work. Probably the device. We've been doing this for months now. You and I done this for months. Probably not going to change. So just get the headset. Help us out. Okay, Billy Epstein, all the rest involved. Trump's involved, but he's not, of course. They're all involved, but they're not because they all work together, but they're not. Hello. Stop making me fight for airtime on my broadcast, please. I know I talk a lot. All you got to do is wait for me to stop. That could be a couple seconds, could be a few moments, could be a half hour. You never know what you got here. Maybe you do know what you got here. That's why it should be that much easier to just conform to a simple instruction. Please don't talk over me and make me get loud and have to get in a resistance state. I want to be in a flow state while I'm here. I know that's an ironic term. You were saying grunting, rather?
I was kind of sorry. No, do you remember when Bill Gates put out the tweet saying if we put the stuff in our foods, they would make the hesitancy go away, the hesitant citizens?
I got it.
So he tweeted about roofing everyone. So all you motherfuckers that think that we're conspiracy theorists, when he put out a shitload of biological, genetically modified hypodermic needle mosquitoes, when he tweets about the hesitancy, people not wanting to take his stuff, his soup. I mean, okay.
Russ, you're feeding back.
All right, man. We'll catch you guys later. We're traveling, so it must be.
All right. We'll see you later. 6 months this guy's been doing this with me. It's fascinating. 6 months or more. I've been telling Russ, feeds back every time. You got to get a headset. It's the device. He leaves and comes back. It's just, I have to do this. Commentary. Okay, can we move on, Snafu Creature? Are you going to let me move on and do what I need to do, or are you going to, keep dragging me back out? Great.
My whole thing is the optics.
I'll see you later. That's the thing. It's that quick, right? You're there the whole time. You say nothing. I just asked him, can we move forward? You got to drag me back out, and you go and do the exact thing I'm asking to not do that you're known for. So now I got to kick you from the studio because we're not playing games with Paulie Boy at the front of the room. It's not what we're doing. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your teacher. We're working together. We're contributing to the conversation. We're going with the flow, or we're going out. See? I'm not the pathetic worrier. I'm not slow state. I'm not Jack Slavecott. I'm none of them. So go there if you want absolute chaos and insanity and lack of purpose and meaning and structure. We're not doing it here any longer. We did it for too long. Lost a third of the audience. Not going to continue it. Thanks. Thanks for your cooperation, fellas. 63 anti-Israel protesters arrested after disrupting travel at major airports. Snafu Creature. Oh my God. It's happening. The civil war, the fear porn.
It's a pro-Palestinian protesters causing chaos at two of America's biggest airports on one of the busiest travel weeks of the year. Demonstrators blocking streets, causing massive headaches for holiday travelers. Good morning. I'm Mike Emanuel, in for Bill Hemmer. Good morning, Molly.
Good morning, and I am Molly Line, in for Dana Perino. This
is America's Newsroom. Protesters held up the expressway leading up to JFK Airport. Police say the protesters threw objects at officers, assaulting 2 of them. Protesters carried banners with messages like, "Divest from genocide" and "Let Gaza live." A similar scene playing out at LAX. Bumper to bumper traffic stretched as far as the eye could see across all 3 lanes.
Police making dozens of arrests at both airports, most on charges of rioting. The protests come as New York City goes on high alert. Mayor Eric Adams says the NYPD is taking precautions to prevent anti-Israel protesters from disrupting the New.
Okay, here we go. I have someone else's nonsense now creeping into my existence. Snafu Creature, can you... Oh, Snafu Creature just ran off. Snafu Creature, could you come back, please? I don't know why you just left. This person seems to believe that they heard you on the Machine Cries broadcast, which has become the new sounding board for all beta bitches who want to whine and cry about their daddy, apparently. He wants to know if you said that you were going to, in front of everybody, come over here and put me in my place and call me whatever it is. What was it? A cuck bitch? Right. To my face. So again, I mean, it's not like I could do anything to you through the computer. It's not like I would do anything to you in real life. You could come in my face. Excuse me. Not come in my face. You can't do that. I know many of you want to do that. You can't. It's a family broadcast. And you can't do it off the broadcast either. But you won't come to my face, rather, and call me a cuck bitch. And if you did, I probably wouldn't do anything back and say, okay. So where does that go? Right? I mean, nobody's going to put their hands on me. Nobody's going to take who and what I am and what I have. Nobody's going to impede my success. So what do I even really care what the fuck other people think and feel and say? To be completely candid. Snafu Creature, are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let me get some music for the occasion.
Can you hear me? Wait, I missed a lot of that because the connection died, but I got back. But I know what this meta fucktard's saying. And I told him, I've told you to your face if I disagree with you or not. He's pissed off because you tell people to share wives or some shit like that or whatever. The whole monogamy bullshit, fuck shit. And it's all because he was defending, I think, who are you defending? Host Cake, the Fed's Proud Boy motherfucker?
No, I'm saying the reality of it is the reality of it is that you all want to make up these terms to pad your insecurity. You're all sharing bitches. Like, I'm really not interested in what you all think and feel about it. Every one of you's got bitches who are all running around town right now fucking other people, and probably not you. So where in your life, in your relationship, do you get these one or multiple women who are stuck to you like glue and don't fuck with other guys? So you either accept that that's the nature of things and that's going to happen because it already has happened, or you pretend like it's not going to happen in the future like it always has.
Doing what you got to do.
Yeah, that doesn't make me a cock for taking life on life's terms. The reality of it is I'm not going to fight a woman or another man for having interactions with each other, even if that's my woman.
No,
right?
You know what? It was because it was something about the witch talk or some shit, and they're like, why aren't you telling fucking Paul who fucking you call these fuckers out, but Paul says he'll fuck your woman or to share your women out or something like that, blah blah. They're just
it's
trying
real
to
simple, bro. I know a lot of you neurotic, broken children can't figure out how life works, even though you've been supposedly living it.
Yeah,
if we get on the land and he brings Abby there, first of all, she already ran off. But the point is, if you bring your women there and there's other men there who are more prosperous, more intelligent, more well-spoken, and better lovers, they're going to take your bitch. Right. And they're not going to have to do anything to have it done. It's just going to happen naturally. So you can fucking hate the player or hate the game, or you could just elevate and replicate. Because ultimately, that's all the process is for all of us, is we look out into life and look back in history and we elevate and replicate to our highest good and faithfully to the highest good of everyone else. So what could you tell me about my life that I'm living with firsthand experience that I get results with?
And see, I'm actually glad you fucking said something about this because you corrected your record. Meta's trying to make the narrative saying that you're preaching that, I'll take you to the... No, you're just being real about how that shit would go.
I'm saying that nobody's above the program. Like, if you're confident in yourself and your life and your relationships and results, then you would know that if you got on the land and you had something going, that obviously at some point women and people are going to take to you and they're going to want to walk with you and experience with you. That's called being an attractive being. So,
Hey, Meta, why don't you just get your bitch ass up here on the panel versus emailing him? Get your ass up here. You got a lot to say. Come tell daddy. Come cry to daddy.
yeah, it's not cucking when you realize many of you folks are just horrible partners. You're boring, you're uninteresting, your conversation is garbage, your discernment is even worse, your plan and your purpose in life is trash. You don't serve anything except a bunch of other bitch-ass corporate motherfucking slaves. So why would anybody want to fucking co-create with you? If I got all those things on the opposite side checked off, what are the odds that certain motherfuckers aren't going to find me attractive? That's how it's supposed to be. Inherent hierarchical power and value system. You can't run from yourself. Motherfuckers will run to a self that has all that checked off because they either want to be with it or they know they need what that being has or is experiencing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's something right with that. It's only when you find something right in you that that experience shows up. There's no faking that funk. There's no fronting. You know, it is what it is. And then you see the results. And then you realize the reverse engineering of how it all comes about, cause and effect. So the reason these clowns go full migtard is because somebody took their bitch at some point. Didn't take them. Their woman up and left because they weren't doing and being shit. And some guy came along who was physically or probably all three on some level, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually attractive and had something going on in life. And it's only a matter of time if you're a woman sitting up under some bozo before you jump ship when something like that comes along. She'd be a fool not to. Your thoughts? Your thoughts?
Oh, when I tell Paul's wrong, but we've had that talk.
Yeah, I don't know what this like. I don't know why. I don't know why you're. I don't know why you're.
They're trying to say.
I don't know why you're so egoic and childish and foolish that you still fall prey to this dynamic of having to go against Paulie Boy to assert your dominance and position in life. I just host a broadcast. I just do what I do here. I'm not like the benchmark of what you all need to do and be necessarily or go against. So the quicker you stop falling into the pattern of having to justify to other weak beta males how you'll go against me when necessary doesn't prove anything, because I'm rarely, if ever, completely wrong here. You rarely, if ever, have a reason to go against me. When you do, it never goes well for you. So that's enough to tell you to just drop that fucking line of thinking and argument. There's just nothing beneficial in it for you or anyone else. It just makes you look lacking in confidence and understanding, inspiration, and empowerment and co-creation with me. If you respect me and what I do and we're aligned, why are you so afraid to proclaim that? You don't have to be a simp for me. You don't have to fucking go anywhere and promote me necessarily. But why do you fall victim to, oh, I'll go up against him and tell him when he's wrong? And what? What does that prove exactly? Like on either level. Like, first of all, it never happens because it's never going on lately, because we've come to an understanding, as we should have from the beginning, because I was right and true and you were claiming I wasn't. So even if you will go against me and tell me when I'm wrong, then what? Now what? As if I'm going to necessarily change who and what the fuck I am, what I'm doing and what I'm saying, or as if you or Machine Lies or anybody's going to do a fucking thing about it. So what's the point of even talking about this fucking nonsense other than, once again, being a part of the gossiping, drama, soap opera, beta male bullshit online that goes nowhere and just kind of convicts you?
That's what I was saying. What they're trying to do is change your narrative, and I already see what they're doing, so there's no point. That's why I didn't even really respond to it or get all crazy. That's what I was trying to tell you from the. I see what they're saying, and they're changing narrative. Like, they want me to go after you. If I did feel like I'd say something, I'd say it. They don't want me
Yeah,
to go after
God
you over
forbid the next time
the other
somebody was
bullshit.
talking shit because they see you here every day and they see me letting you up when they hate you. And they go, why am I giving you a platform? Because I'm slightly entertained with you and because I believe you have some discernment. As long as you don't fucking make me have to work so hard to keep you in line where you know you should be, right? Other than that, it's like, God forbid you all just went the next time people tried to hate on me behind my back, just went, Paul's the real deal. And we've been through it for a year and a half and we know where he's at and where he sits. And he's not necessarily wrong about any of this shit. So God forbid you just stood on what the fuck we all know or suspect or what your experience has been instead of play this game that you'll beat up daddy if you have to.
Well, no, they're trying to change the narrative. They're trying to say the monogamous thing. Since I
Bro,
go
you'll
after
do
all
the
these other
same thing if
people,
we
why
were
don't I
doing
agree with
time
you
in
on that?
prison. You'd be in the fucking cell with me bullshitting and giving me all these people gossip when I don't give a fuck. And you'd be telling me how you realize after a year and a half, I'm the truth and I stand on something. And you'll still be out and about in the yard and around telling people, oh, I'll check him in the cell when he's wrong. Oh, I'll
If
go
I
against
felt like
him.
it,
And then
but
I
I
have
don't
to
feel
hear
it's
about it
wrong.
through these motherfuckers instead of hear some static from you. What's the point?
That's what
Just
I'm trying to
makes
say.
us
I
look
don't
weak in
feel what
our
they're trying to
association.
say you're doing wrong. They're trying to say
It
that you're
just
doing something
makes
wrong, but
us
I
look
don't
weak
feel
in
you're
our
doing wrong.
association, bro. This is why you guys can never be part of a group of men of honor, because you'll go speaking bad about people or try to prove something about someone you fuck with out in public with motherfuckers you don't even fuck with like that. It doesn't make no sense. Why would you put down someone who you fuck with, who you respect, to try to prove something to bitch-ass motherfuckers you don't fuck with and have no respect for? It doesn't make any sense, and it makes you look like a bitch. Doesn't mean nothing about me. The fact that you motherfuckers are always thinking and feeling and talking about me says enough. I'm not even there. I'm not even watching. I don't even give a fuck.
Well, and that's what's crazy. They want me to like go after you over shit that I don't give a fuck about. I don't care how Paul feels about women or what other men feel about they're losing their women or
Bro,
fucking
these
sharing
guys
and all that
talk
shit.
about shit they don't even have an experience with, right? And I've given you the whole game about my life from top to bottom, good and bad. So you can't act like I'm fronting here. I've told everybody my history with women and the dark past with my mother and all the rest of it. But these folks are talking about fucking women and knowing about women. They don't even know themselves and what their life purpose is. Many of them are fucking poor and broke, living on Section 8. They got no fucking job or no career, no purpose, no prospects. They don't want to do and be better. And they want to laugh and giggle online and waste 8 to 10 hours a day hating for free. Good luck. Even when I was poor and broke and didn't have no prospects, I didn't spend my fucking time hating. I spent my time learning and growing and developing. What would a motherfucker waste time hating for and talking about other men? Foolishness. Either get to something or shut the fuck up and go sit in your hole and go back on your drugs. Wasting everybody's time with this nonsense. Acting like you're good with yourself and your life and your relationships. You're not. And then you want to shit on me when I am. Get real.
Well, see, and that's what I was trying to say. I don't even really get what Meta was trying to tell me I need to call you out on. Like they think that you're that's his feelings, his presentment, his way, his beliefs on his shit.
How are you
Like,
going to call me out when you've never given a woman something different to ride on that helped change her life?
well, what you've said is
Mentally,
not wrong.
emotionally, spiritually, financially. When I've done that 3, 4, 5, 10 times already, you've never done it once. How are you going to speak on my experience when you haven't
Well,
done it
that's what I'm
yet?
saying. Meta and them are just trying to
Are you
find something
kidding?
to get me to go at you about. That's all that shit is. That's what Meta's trying to do. Say, hey, Snaps, you
Bro,
go
these
after
guys
them.
got whole relationships with women
Yeah.
where all they do is fucking talk bad about them and run off and say they ain't shit. Enough smoke that leads to fire, right? So when all of your bitches, one after the other, leave you, excuse me for using the term bitches, but the bottom line is with most of these beta male bitch boys, they're attracting in beta bitches. They're not real women because they wouldn't have been with them from the beginning. But even the beta bitches come around you and hear your bullshit and stick with you and leave after a little bit of time and got nothing but a negative report. You didn't give them nothing in the eyes of game, understanding of self, thoughts, emotions, actions, purpose, finances, none of it. You didn't give them shit. And that's the report. And I'm supposed to respect you and all the women. This is pimping rules 101. All the women who come out from up under you say you ain't shit. And you think I'm going to respect you? I don't have that problem. I don't have that report. Greetings, Frank.
Good afternoon, Paulie. Good afternoon, Wizard. And hello, Officer Snaps. Did I miss policy enforcement? I hope not.
Okay, now he's going to do the thing where he goes quiet. So I'm going to move on. Snafu Snaps, thank you for your commentary. We're going to move forward. Frank is here now. The Israelis, did we do the Israelis protesting, overrunning airports? We did that. Iran is already at war with the U.S. Expert warns. Did we do that? I think we did that yesterday. But we knew that. Russia launches massive aerial attack on Ukraine. So we're ramping up with all of the players. Axis of evil.
Ukraine's government says Russia launched 122 missiles at targets overnight, the most since the war began. At least 30 people were killed. The missiles hitting multiple cities across Ukraine. Homes and a maternity ward were caught in the crossfire. But the Ukrainian Air Force said it intercepted most of those missiles. In a statement, President Biden called on Congress to pass more aid for Ukraine and said the attack is a, quote, stark reminder to the world that after nearly 2 years of this devastating war, Putin's objective remains unchanged. He seeks to obliterate Ukraine and subjugate its people. He must be stopped. For more on this, I want to bring in CBS News correspondent Elaine Cobb. Elaine, thanks for joining us. Let's start with the very latest on this attack from Russia. What more do we know?
Chanel, this was a massive attack. It hit across the country, hitting the capital, Kyiv, of course, but also Kharkiv, Lviv in the west, which had been largely spared in recent times, and also Odessa in the south. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia hit it with everything in its arsenal. And the Ukrainian Air Force said they used missiles, they used drones, and they used many missiles that are very difficult to intercept, which is why they managed to hit so many areas. People were hiding in the metro just as they did 2 years ago. Now, many observers are saying that this, because it came somewhat out of the blue, things have been much quieter there, that they believe Russia may have been stockpiling some weapons and planning carefully this widespread attack right across the country.
Elaine, talk about the international reaction to this latest attack.
There's been condemnation across the board and right off the bat. The United Nations human rights body immediately called
And they're busy
on Russia to halt
this last
this
few months.
attack.
They've been busy,
the
huh?
European Union said that Russia should stop, condemning it. Here in France, the government
What are your
said
thoughts, Frank, about the mounting wars between nations worldwide? That seems to all be coincidental or conspired, some folks might say, just right on time. Everybody warring with everyone, economies collapsing, digital currency proliferating as of next few weeks. The word is ETF will be released. Is it all organized? Is it all random coincidence? What's going on here?
So I like to judge each war independently. So the Russia-Ukraine war, they really should have just had a martial arts tournament. They should have wrestled for whatever land. So they're just wasting money with that war.
So these are all just random events, coincidences. Russia, Iran, China, and others aligning with each other against all nations that are aligned with each other. It's all just coincidental and random, bringing about a World War III talked about 200 years ago as a plan.
A lot of people have their plans, and most of the time you have plans, you don't actually implement them, and that's kind of a hard thing to do. Now, on the Israel-Palestine war, Israel needs to stop playing games. They need to hurry up, bring up the big guns, to stop playing around. You can finish it in literally a weekend. So just hurry up.
That's the thing, though, Hank. I think that there's Tribe, right? Tribe is very intellectual, left brain, worldly intellectual, but I think that some folks are missing the intuitive component here that kind of, energy within the space between the things or the events, right? And the
I
connection.
think someone would just disagree about that statement about tribe, but move forward.
No, that's the thing. You didn't listen. You were too busy trying to fight tribe and project. It was a backhanded compliment in a sense. Like I like to speak about the left brain, worldly, intellectual folks who lack right brained emotional intelligence or the intuition to kind of put the pieces together and read between the lines. Again, maybe I'm projecting, but from my perspective, these are far from random coincidences. As you know, this is all organized and designed. It's all funded and spoken about. I give you the Clausen video for a year and a half of him saying all the major wars are funded, all the major wars are done on purpose. We all attack ourselves in order to go to war and spread our demo crazy. And you keep telling me they're all individualized events, they're all just random chance, and they're all just one nation against one nation. But it's not, because your Israeli lobbyist said, some folks might say it's all organized, it's all created, it's all funded, it's all false flag. Some folks might say, I didn't say that. Clausen said that. Right. And then you chose to not believe the Israeli lobbyist who was standing on stage looking left and right while he was basically giving you the whole game in favor of this idea that most likely nothing could be that grand. Right. This is the failing of the human being. Can't consider a God that could have a program that runs with everyone, all places, all time. Can't conceive of a world run by a force or a group of people that's pretty much put themselves all places at all times, even to the point of listening in on all of us, admitted. I mean, when is everyone going to get a clue here?
So I was literally just asleep like 10 minutes ago. One of my muses is a let's say a logistics deity. These people are too stupid to coordinate on that wider scale. These people are just too dumb to do so.
No, the active participants on the lowest levels are too incompetent, incapable, and corrupt to get it done completely without a bunch of chaos along the way, which is perfect because these are agents of chaos, order out of chaos. But at the highest level, to me, it's highly organized. It's highly funded. There's a lot of time, energy, attention, and resources that go in. There's a lot of stratagem, and it's a very long game. And then you got to get the humans to carry it out underneath. So if you want to go to a low-level structure and organization, that's one thing. I'm talking about councils on foreign relations, United Nations. I'm talking about global consortiums and groups who meet, who regularly admit that they're shaping the whole planet, the future of everybody involved in this realm, indefinitely, some might say, going right down to the cellular level of our biology. So I don't understand how we're still at the point with many folks where they go, this is all random chance, it's all coincidence, it's all individualized events.
Cool.
When we just had the last 3 years showing that it was just that easy to control a whole world and get them all to lock down and take whatever it is you tell them they need to take and wear whatever it is you tell them they need to wear. I mean, this isn't that difficult. And again, then once you admit that it is true, then you have to cop to the fact that it's all for everybody's own good and safety. Which
I would love to admit it's true, but they had me still working all the way through the lockdowns when they're supposed to.
Okay, so how did the last 3 years go through? If everybody's so incompetent and it's also disorganized, how did the last 3 years go through? How did everybody get their stimulus slavery? How did everybody lock down? How did everybody know what to put over themselves and what to do?
If I
it was highly organized, it was highly planned, it was highly effective.
If they were ready, they would have been able to take my job and get
highly effective and safe, worldwide, without boundaries, seeming to be ubiquitous, omnipotent, omnipresent, but yet ineffective with a small group of folks who will not submit or concede.
Hank, you got to think of it this way. When other than shady business, so to speak, Antarctica, I could say, is one of those, have you seen allies and enemies be on the same page? The world was shut down. You just mentioned it, all coordinated. these FFs all coordinated, these big CEOs dropping out, leaving their businesses and going to Switzerland, and bankers and this and that, JP, Disney, you
selling
name
off
it.
stocks, buying stocks,
coordinated,
preparing
yep.
way ahead of it, putting their money in certain positions, knowing what was going to happen, tripling,
for you to be
quadrupling
ignorant.
up, pulling out, pumping and dumping. It's manipulation central, just like
And then
slave
the
and
World
all
Health
the rest.
Organization telling you it's all coordinated. You like, I mean, they're literally telling you, motherfuckers, you ain't. It doesn't matter if you're in our country or not. You're gonna follow our rules, and we're gonna control your vehicles, and like all coordinate. Like what the fuck?
Bro, you know
man?
how simple this is to prove? All Elon has to do is tweet something, markets rise and fall. Go watch the history when Elon goes on Twitter, tweets one line, and a stock falls 40%.
Yes, yeah, you
So
can
that
get
just proves
keep
one
his hyperlink
retard out
together.
there has the
You could-
ability to influence 40% of a market to rise or fall based on his
Just think
one
about
line
that, man.
ambiguous tweet. And
He
you're going to
couldn't
tell
keep
me
his
mine and
hyperlink
Mark's
together.
doesn't exist, and
With
it's
all
not
his
possible.
research, he couldn't keep his
Big
hyperlink
optics,
together.
Paul. I mean, that's the truth. These motherfuckers, you don't get it, Hank. It's third tracks. It's
They should have been able to replace my job with
Big
robots.
tech,
They
big
could have
business.
coordinated, but they kept me working anyways. They should have been able to remove the goddamn package around for my help if they had everything together. And they did.
You
They
think
weren't
they
ready.
give a fuck about you?
Hold on,
and your
creature.
health?
I got to thank Jeremiah J. He said, for fuck the haters, Happy New Year. Thank you for your gift, Mr. Jeremiah. Much appreciated, sir. Go ahead.
No, apparently because they didn't have the robots ready. Like I was told they would have ready.
Hank, you just
they-
made a statement and said my health. Who
Help,
cares about
my
your
help? They didn't have the robots ready to replace my job, like I was told by the, let's say, coincidence analyzers. The coincidence analyzers said that the robots was going to replace my job, and said, "Nah, you keep working. You don't get you don't get locked
Are you
down.
talking
Keep
to
working."
an A? Did you download that AI friend bullshit? And you got like a new, you know, they're doing the AI friend shit, and they're like,
you don't want to address my issue.
He comes on
I
Paul
was
and
told
Slavia,
by
so we're gonna like tell
coincidence
him like,
analyst that
Hey, Hank, I hate to burst your bubble, but
they-
we just did a
they told me to
story
keep
about.
working.
We just did the breaking news mainline story, which is like from the beginning of time, where one organization controls all the politicians because all it does is give them drugs and whores and gets them all on video fucking them. Like, you act like it's not so simple to run this whole thing. Like, we know how men are, if nothing else, right? This is how they think. We know how men are because we know how we are. So we're going to pimp and hoe. Put 10 of these bitches up there and make sure 5 of them are like 17, because we're going to get Donnie and the rest to fuck them all one night at a party, and we're going to get them on video from behind the fucking wall through the picture glass frame, right? And then we're going to come to them. Hey, bro, bad news. That party you were at the other night? Yeah, we threw that purposely to get you to fuck these 17-year-olds. Now you got to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and we're going to show you the tape. And furthermore, there's a 17-year-old there, so you're going to prison. And also now you're going to give us money and fund our causes, and you're going to politically do what we say. You act like this has not been going on from the beginning of time. You act like they didn't all get caught.
I'm just saying
top
one of
people
them would
pushing
say
all this shit.
entrapment or try to burn down the place. I'm just saying you can't control everyone the same way. One of them would say entrapment.
Hey, Hank, are you one of those
building,
like
destroyed
Goblin
evidence.
that says Jack Talcott is your life coach? Because that could be the problem here, Paul. We could have life coach.
The problem is I'm not convinced. Therefore, I use Jack Talcott as a life coach. That's a non sequitur.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not convinced by what I laid out for a year and a half and what I can lay out in 5 minutes, you might never be convinced, and you don't need to.
I might, but I watched people
What
like
would have to convince
Alex
you to know that
Jones,
coordination
Glenn
is
Beck.
happening?
Yeah, like what exactly would you need to see to
seconds.
know that this is all coordinated, all organized, and all run top down based on bribery, corruption, and impulse and compulsion?
Oh, I would need to see psychology actually making some scientific progress so that we know for certain that most of these control mechanisms work.
Like, you gotta be joking
That's what I
right
need to
now.
see.
Are you
But right now, I see a replication crisis. They can't keep anything straight in psychology.
Right. So, like, someone totally wouldn't be able to get you if they just came to you tomorrow and said, That Paul Enslaved character is a real piece of shit. You're the real star, Hank. We're going to give you $1 million, and we got these 3 white hoes here, and maybe a white man, too, that you can fuck because they're really in love with you. They're not going to get you with something, right? And then, like, somewhere along the way, they're not going to get you with the phone or whatever they gave you, doing all of it, and then come to you with a bribe, and you're not going to take it, right? It's so difficult to figure out what humans' motivations and intentions are and to work around them and manipulate them.
Yeah.
It's like so difficult.
The
Can't
thing
you
is,
tell?
there comes so much small print that I refuse to sign the damn contract. Don't care about $1 million. They have a whole bunch of bullshit small print.
Yeah, you may
Plus, I
not,
like you.
and I don't
You take the
necessarily
money more
agree
than I do.
completely, but I'll take your word on that. You may not, but the majority of people obviously are. They have certain intentions and motivations, and they're able to be gamed right out of position because they're selfish, they're greedy, they're desirous, and they're clutching people. So once they're offered certain power, value, and status, they not only will continue to toe the line to keep it, but they'll give up everything in order to avoid losing it.
Yeah. My argument is you can't fool everyone all the time and often enough to control them all.
It's not about everybody. I already said it's a
Hey.
majority. It's a very unhealthy majority. It's not about everybody. Like they say in all these studies, it's about 1 to 3% who do not conform. And it makes sense because when they tested my IQ, coincidentally, again, the synchronicities are all there. I'm in a 97th percentile. Do you think it's a coincidence that I'm one of the 1 to 3% who will not conform, as the psychologists have laid out? When my IQ is 97 percentile, I'm right in the 3% mark, right? There's only 1 to 3% left in that equation. So this is back to the
psychologists say that there's people who won't conform across the spectrum. So,
Hank, you kind of contradict yourself when you say officer. What do you call me now?
Officer
You say I'm
Snaps.
Right. Where'd you get that from?
Oh, I derived
you
it from
basically got that
Paul's
from coordination,
I
right?
literally thought I did
Coordination on fuck
watching on
snap.
Paul's show.
So
I
how do
got
you
from the
think our government,
behavior Paul's
politicians,
enforcing.
everything is not
I mean,
coordinated?
you're not letting me finish my
Media.
sentence. You might
I
put my
mean,
hands up
you
and
literally
see
call
them.
me Officer Snaps because
Yes.
of coordinated fuck you snaps movement, right? Coordination. You caught on to the coordinated fuck you snaps movement. So for you to sit here and say there's not coordination in the world and you're coordinating on a fuck you snaps because I go after Pogo Pedos, do you get the ironic thing of what you're saying? There's no coordination, you don't see it, but you're doing it yourself.
Yes, but when I know, since I'm a coordinator, how annoyingly hard it is to coordinate people.
And
It
we're
was
talking about
easier.
big
It was
entities.
easier.
Like, have you ever seen the news clips where they
I wouldn't
say
have
it's
this issue now.
flooding and then it's like only ankle deep water? Like what they do to and that's just mainstream media doing that. Like coordination. Do you not see coordination of, like the casinos, trying to come bet, give her money and we're gonna take it, but you can win big, like coordination, dude, big tech, money, business. Like you don't see or know American corporation? Did you know that?
That's not even a coherent sentence. I could see corporations act all the time, but if it's that easy to control people, I need the higher people to come down to my company and train my managers for me. It's not really easy. It's not that simple.
Snap Creature, he just sent me the video of you.
Oh yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, it was talk. They were trying to get me to check you, and I
It's
said,
audio. No, we're gonna play the audio. Don't start doing mea culpa. Don't start. Yeah,
I'll
don't
stand by
start
what I say.
framing the clip. It's audio. It's not video. This is just what he sent me. So.
Well, either way,
Hold on.
I'll stand by what I said.
Oh wait, MP4 is
Nothing
video.
new.
No?
You've heard worse from me before.
Right. I'm sure I have. You're completely shameless and have no problem being 2 and 3 different people and striking
Your
channels.
discernment is well, sir.
Yeah, it is.
Daddy, you got good discernment. So that's what we're getting to point. Discernment. These fucktards. And Hank here is like proving, like you yourself said, Officer Snaps. So you're in a coordinated fuck you snaps movement. But you don't think our governments are coordinating against the citizens of the world? But you're joining a coordinated fuck you snaps movement, Hank? Do you get what I'm saying?
Like, what the fuck, dude? Wake up.
Does your God or my God or any God or creator, the real God, stand for that bullshit?
You don't have
What's
a
the definition of natural, Officer Snaps? What
believe
is
in
your
a general
definition of
God that
natural?
doesn't approve or disapprove of anything, my friend.
Yeah, what is your definition of natural, Officer
Like, what
Snaps?
God are you talking about? Are you
Hey,
talking about
if you want to tell me what natural is, it's definitely not two dingleberries fucking each other like you think is okay. That's not natural, Hank.
believe in natural law?
Yeah, he does not know what he means by.
What about?
Hank, I'm not the one saying Adam and Steve are okay. That's unnatural.
Hold on. What about having other dudes fuck your wife? Is that in the Bible? Dumb fuck.
Yeah, it actually has been. Yeah.
Where is that in the Bible?
Well, I mean, the shared wives and things like that. Old Testament versus New Testament as well, though.
So practicing cuckoldry is allowed in the Bible.
Well, it wasn't like endorsed or anything.
That's what
Old Testament.
That's what your buddy Paul endorses, but you promote all sorts of sexual.
Dude, I call his ass out on that shit too. Fuck Paul when it comes down to that.
You sit next to godless motherfuckers and promote.
I call Paul out on that shit too.
You're a bitch ass motherfucker, and you don't own it, bro.
No, I've called Paul out on that shit many times.
No, you don't. You just sit there.
Sure, I'll call him out today if he brought it up.
You call motherfuckers daddy who want to fuck your bitch because you're a dumb. That's right, dude.
Okay.
That's how you are, dude. Dude.
I don't think so.
You looking a little light, Holmes.
All I know is when you said Hank was donking on me, remember the only donking he does is on top of another man's penis because he's a gay Fruit
You're a
Loop
little light in
witch.
the loafers, and you let other people fuck your bitch. Doesn't mean that it goes on.
But I'm not the one fucking like that. You're the one fucking wondering if your bitch is even coming home or not, and not with her anymore. I wasn't even in that position. You're the one who had bitch problems, not me.
Oh, really?
Like, you're the one worried about if your bitch. You're the one cuckolding, basically.
You didn't say some bitch ruined your life. You didn't say some bitch ruined your life.
This is why
crying about
Tim
it on the
wants to
internet.
run me over
You
with a
dumb
car.
cocksucker.
Turn on your camera, Officer Snaps. Let the audience decide.
Isn't that what you said, Snafu? That some girl ruined your life. She took you to court. She fucking got an abortion, all this stuff. Isn't that what you said? Crying about it. Say how bitches ruined your life. Now you're a big towel faggot. Isn't that what you said, Snafu?
No bitch ruined my life, but Big Cow is definitely something that is worth it. Men going their own way, men guarding their own wallet. Yep. Big Cow is definitely worth it.
All you do is cry about how bitches are manipulating you on the internet. You have no
bitches be bitching, dude.
You hang out with sexual degenerates, okay, and then you blame other people.
It says the guy hanging out with the guy who has a sex torso next to him, busting out on the internet. Who brags and has a gay smile because he's gay.
This is a guy who goes on a
Says
panel.
the guy, says TML, the one talking about God.
Says the guy who goes on the panel with people who say you should share your wife with other people. Right.
Okay, if you want me to correct that with Paul, I have no problem telling him
Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and correct that before you come over.
Okay, Snafu. So go ahead and correct me right now and tell me how someone's not sharing your
belief.
Shut up. Let me finish.
I'll correct you. Let me correct you.
Shut up and let me finish.
I believe something different.
Shut up and let me
believe the way you
finish.
believe.
You're babbling. You're babbling. Let me finish. You and Machine Cries and all the rest of the clowns on here, come on right now and correct me that someone isn't sharing your women right now. I want to see how much you're going to lie to yourselves or to everyone else. Many of you don't even know you're doing it, right? Let's be real about it. Many of you don't even know that your woman is for the streets, as they say, or just has somebody in mind who they think is more valuable and respectable and attractive than you. Wow, that's so hard to imagine, huh? So get out of your pride and ego. You're all sharing women because never once have you got a woman and she not up and left and go to fuck somebody else. Where do you think Abby went to go sit with herself? No, she went to go cry on some guy's dick while she insulted you in a live chat. Get a clue.
See, I think, Paul, this is evidence that you will do anything to get through shadow banning. You know what I'm saying? You're going to set up your OnlyFans, Paul Unshaved. You know what I mean? This is the perfect segue into the next bit. You know what I mean?
Right. That's not necessarily cucking to accept that a woman gets to choose at the end of the day. And if a woman wants to up and leave and go fuck with somebody else, she has that prerogative, right? So you want to simp on and trick on and try to manipulate, control, and dominate a woman's ego. I say go, fly free. You know, I'm not here to keep anybody manipulated. I'm not here to keep anybody stuck with me. If a bitch, as you say, in quotes, doesn't want to be up under me, she's got no business being there. I got no business having her there. See, many beta boys won't throw these females out or push them to the side when they need to be checked and pushed aside. You go to running and chasing after them and neglecting your work and your purpose and success in life. Don't tell me about cucking. What were you doing when you were crying on your live? Abby, come home. Abby, come home, while she's fucking some other guy. You're the cuck, not me. I'm pure pimping at this point. Proper instruction motivates people. And also control your dick, and also control your mind and heart, and also control your life and your purpose. And also don't let these goofy bitches run you ragged, because they don't respect you for it anyway. They'd respect you more if you got the fuck up, dusted yourself off, got back to your shit, got on your game, and elevated. She might come back without you begging, right? So let's get really real with ourselves and each other. I don't need to cuck. I just need to focus on my purpose and meaning. What's meant for me will stay. What's not will go.
Well, obviously, you saw what happened. He tried setting me up. I wasn't even thinking or talking about you. And I answered, I said, I'd call him out if I felt I was wrong. We have different thoughts on that. But that whole thing was because of his personal issue with the girl shit with you. He was trying to set me up in the whole Paul thing because I saw what was going on there. But yeah, I told him I'll call his ass out if I feel I need to. But these motherfuckers are trying to get me to like say something about his issue. But I told him the same thing. Your bitch fucking left you while you're crying, saying, "Oh, she's coming home," and she's probably fucking with another dude. Like, him got butt hurt, but he set me up to go at you. You heard the whole way that conversation went down. So yeah, I got no shame in my game. It's all digital experience, all out there. All you motherfuckers remember, crew's watching too. We record shit too. You dumb fucks. It's nothing Paul hasn't heard before. Told him broke bad for life. Even though he's kind of telling me why I shouldn't, blah, blah. And I'm listening here and there, but truth is
I didn't tell you why you shouldn't for me. I told you why I believe you shouldn't for you. That's
right.
you.
Which means I'm listening to what you told me. I remember that I remember that conversation very well.
Right. So
that's
all he's doing, like they all do, is projecting, right?
Right.
We don't have the same.
They're trying to set me up because they see that you and I have common grounds of understanding, but you still check me when I need it, blah, blah. And he set me up. He was trying to set me up, and I said what I said. No shame game, but obviously that's I'm surprised they don't come up here and say it to your face. I think they met all you motherfuckers in chat saying that shit. Why don't you tell Paul how you feel? I mean,
yeah, not being a hater is not
publicly. That's why they
failing
show the
to hate is not being a cuck, right? If somebody comes along and has better conversation, understanding, wisdom, application, process, procedure, lifestyle, and a woman I'm dealing with wants to go deal with them, how am I going to be upset about that? How am I going to hate on that? It is what it is. See, they just can't get right. They can't get comfortable with the uncomfortable. They can't check their ego themselves and God, right?
Do you think it's jealousy?
Well, yeah. I mean, a part of it is that we all have that. You know, I've experienced that. I mean, listen, if you're dealing with any woman who's on any level attractive, she's going to get hit on rather regularly at some point.
Huh.
So what are you going to do?
Once your bitch does a phone test with you, like one hundo, like, you know, like the phone loyalty test shit, like straight up, hand me that shit, let me go through your shit, you go through my, like if she's going to hide that shit, that's the one way to tell the best way. Like, so to speak, but you shouldn't even have to do that.
It's typically not in a woman's nature who's not, you know, on some trip with her daddy to be running around town fucking with a whole bunch of men. There may be a whole bunch of men pursuing her, but she's not going to be available for them. She's usually got one that she's, you know, on with or on about, so to speak.
My message to TML and Jack Talcott will fit in this category. The reason you tried to trigger on me with the whole Paul thing and your chick thing is because you're triggered that, and this goes for you, Talcott, your own family members, your own girlfriends, whatever the fuck it is, have left you, and then you come to this digital experience and you're still bitter and jealous and shit. But you motherfuckers fix your own shit. It ain't my fault. It ain't Paul's fault. It ain't anyone else's fault. Handle your own shit, you know? That's all I
right.
gotta
If
say.
you look around and there was one woman there and only one woman and she's gone now, and there's children there and they're gone now, and your house is on the way out or never was, and you got no career and prospects, and you don't really like yourself and feel good from the inside out and about your life, and you don't feel in alignment, it's probably you, bro. It's probably not anybody else. As soon as you make that acceptance and awareness, is the quicker you can change that, and then those set of circumstances will change. But again, it's the difference between somebody who's hating and somebody who's elevating. They're not looking at how it's everyone else's fault. They're looking at what everyone else is doing different from them to get different results, and then activating that sense of self. See, you're the one out there with that twin flame garbage, crying to your woman in the chat, who you never probably should have been with from the beginning, talking about we're meant for each other. How do you know what's meant for you till how it ends up? You're going off of feelings. You're appealing to authority or emotion constantly in your life, right? How do you know what's meant for you just because in what you feel? You felt a lot of times in your life shit was meant for you, and it didn't pan out that way. So the reality of it is, I don't do that twin flame looking for my other half nonsense. What's meant for me is what comes and doesn't leave. And the only way you're authentically going to know what's meant for you is what comes and doesn't leave by you authentically being yourself, not cucking to that bitch in a live chat saying I'm cucking. You're a little confused.
I got to be 100% honest with you, Paul. That kind of, it didn't catch me off guard to think about it now and to think of when it happened. But the second it happened, it did, because I was there because of Hank and optics and blah, blah. Me and Mr. Hanky Poo been running around. But TML, for him to bring, I didn't even know he had like bitterness towards you. I didn't know he was like, I didn't know.
They're all bitter toward me because I've all made
when
a
he
comment
said that,
at times.
You know, I was kind of like, because you could listen. Usually I'm like, blah, blah,
Can
blah,
you
blah,
get a
blah.
headset,
I was
bro?
quiet for a second because I was
Can
kind
you
of,
get a
I didn't know
headset?
he was bitter towards you.
Can you get a headset one of these days? Could you afford it?
Not yet.
Do we have to put together a fund to get you a fucking earbuds or what?
Maybe, probably, but no,
So
I
you
could
can
get
hear
one.
Where
me.
did I
You
send
can
the
have
money
like
to? I could just put the whole bill myself.
No, I
Where
could
did I
get
send the
some
money to?
headset. I could probably buy some cheap headbuds like Hank's wearing.
I got no headphones.
Where I send the money to, I could flip the whole bill myself if necessary.
But that did catch me off guard. I didn't know TML was bitter at you. To be honest, and I
You're
usually
all
pay
bitter
attention.
at me
I knew
because
he had
I've
issues, but I
spoken.
didn't think he would bring it online like that.
You don't think that you're subconsciously on some level, even if it's slightly bitter toward me because of what I spoke about you in the past? I'm sure it's there.
Well, I kind of have that like attitude of, you know how it is. You know, one day you have to go with the day each day. You know, like, you know, I still could approach you for canteen. Like I feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, motherfucker, you front me a noodle and I got you too next week. You know,
because ultimately anything I've spoke
like, you know
about
what I'm
you,
saying?
anything I spoke about you or anyone else is either true or it's not. If it's true, then you can change it. It's not going to change the fact that I may have a care for you. I may be able to kick it with you and we may be able to have common bonds. But again, at times I will speak what I see about patterns and themes that come up over and over again with folks who experience with me, and they catch resentments and bitterness because they think I'm hating on them. Nah, I'm exposing your weakness. Once you shore that up, you're going to be better than ever. You should be thanking me, not hating on me.
Right. I just wanted to point out that because usually, you know, I'm blah, 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 blah right away. And I kind of was caught off guard for a second, but then I wasn't because I know TML runs with these cupcakes like Hank and oothers. That's the reason I was there. Hank's been cupcaking.
Yeah, but what's
it
your
with
beef with Hank,
card.
man? What's your deal with Hank? Like, what's Hank's, like,
The
what's his
cupcakeness.
problem?
The cupcakeness. Like,
Well, because he's not constantly in chaos and controversy and trying to.
Jack Talcott is his life
I'm getting a
coach.
headache. You're giving me a headache because I'm having to swim upstream again. You need to get headphones so I can politely interrupt and you could.
Okay, the only thing I gotta say, Hank, Jack Talcott is Hank's life coach. Just think about that.
Okay, that's not true. You made that true, and now you're fighting from a place and resisting
no, he will
me
tell
and the
you.
interaction.
Ask Hank. Ask Hank out of his own
He
mouth.
just
He'll
shook
tell you.
his head left and right while smiling ear to ear because he thinks you're insane.
Hank, tell him that Jack Talcott. See, tell him.
He's
Hank,
shaking his head up and down now because he agrees with me.
No, he's admitted Jack Talcott is his life coach, just like Goblin and others.
Is it possible he's doing a? Is it possible he's doing a bit non-bit?
No, not this one. You can tell when he's fucking around and when he's real. That's why he's on these panels cupcaking it.
Yeah, no, I don't. It doesn't make any
real, not
sense.
real.
Hank has a job. Hank has an interesting wardrobe. Hank's a happy man by all accounts, even without the opposite sex or really any sex in his life. Jack Talcott's none of those things. Why would someone who's already doing way better than Jack Talcott go to Jack Talcott for coaching?
Can
I think you're a little bit
Him
confused.
shit. I don't get it.
Hank is Jack Talcott's life coach, and Hank probably has bigger genitals than Jack Talcott. So he's better off there as well. He probably has more money, more options, better career standing, better friendships, even if he has few of them, right? Even if he doesn't have any friendships in his life, he's received well here consistently everywhere he goes. So Jack Talcott doesn't have that quality of life.
There's clips of me calling Jack Talcott a fake cult leader. There's clips of me saying that.
So
and now Jack's going to be pissed.
God damn it, Paul.
Hey, what do you think about your other buddy Host State now that he's an admitted Fed, Proud Boy, linked, connected? You know,
that's the thing I don't think about him. That's the thing I don't. That's the thing I don't think about him. I already made too much room for my liking in my brain. I've already made too much room for my liking in my brain for Jack Talcott, who I think of from time to time because he's a fascinating character.
I know, but you're not cupcaking.
I'm not making any more room for the rest of these folks. I want to keep some level of my dignity and or sanity.
Well, I get that, but you're not over there on the panels. That's why I asked Hank. Now that he knows,
I know, and you shouldn't be over there either. Because if Hank was there and you weren't there, you wouldn't know he was there, and you'd have nothing to talk about concerning them. You see how that works? I know. It's the meter effect, right? When you're doing what he's doing, but you got different reasons, and somehow it leads to the same outcome for me and everyone else. See, do you ever notice that Hank, like, regardless of where he goes, doesn't go everywhere else talking shit and spreading feces and creating gossip and controversy and making false claims? You do that rather consistently. So you're both in the same places doing the same thing.
Master to bust nuts on plastic torsos.
Okay. Well, again, you might want to get a plastic torso and bust some nuts on it. You might relax and calm down and stop acting like a fool. I got a couple of plastic torsos out back. You can wipe them down and use them if you want.
You can't wipe them down yourself and send them sterile and clean.
Well, so you want me to do all the work? You want me to let you use my plastic torsos? You want me to clean them up and wipe them down, and you're going to send them back soiled. You're not gonna extend the same courtesy. You're going to send them back soiled, so I'll clean them twice.
Well, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you're a very lazy person. I did. I know you better than you know yourself. Apparently. This person's confused by this. I'm confused by this. It's not meant to be understood. These are very troubled people, ma'am or sir.
Oh, that's a sir.
Yeah, it's a sir. I know him.
That's Caucasian Sasquatch. Yeah, that's straight shilling. But
okay.
Yeah, Sasquatch is from over in my chat. But I had the serious question from a couple of streams ago. Now, is Hank going to be a candidate for Moose's woman? Because I think that was unresolved from a couple live streams ago. Is that in the cards anywhere that Hank would be a candidate for Moose?
Did you hear Moose this morning saying that he prefers women who leave much to be desired with the imagination? He's not for women who are like showing themselves online or anywhere, their body or anything. And I'm like, Moose.
Yeah.
I'm like, Moose, you don't have women in your life who could do that. Why are you speaking on something that is not an option for you? You know? I don't know. Maybe that's being rude and mean. Go ahead.
I've always been attracted to sexy, confident women myself.
I got
right. If you're going to talk about what you like and don't like, then the people in your life have to at least have had at some point the option to do that. Or else you're talking about an experience you don't even have the option of having. Like if no one wants to look at you naked, then what's the difference if you want to be looked at naked or not? You're downing an experience you haven't even had an option to have. It's just it's also kind of like this riding the line between what they think is righteous, virtuous, and ethical versus just neurotic. Like from the beginning of time, a woman's body has been seen as a work of art, even a man's body. How many places do you go where oh, that's gay because the guy is like built like stone and they got his little pecker out and he's carved in stone and he's a conqueror. So man and woman physical form on some level has been considered an art. And then you guys like hypersexualized it and then made it this neuroses because you're all unreconciled in your life. See, when kings were kings and men were men, they weren't neurotic about everything because they expressed completely. So yeah, they had, you know, multiple wife situation, a community air, you know, and sort of energy. And there wasn't all this competition and neuroses and fear as I see it. Right. It was just kind of understood. You know, we have these certain desires, these certain impulses and compulsions, and there's a certain level of beauty to even the ugliness of it. Right. It's called reconciliation and resolution. No, you want to migtard and act like you figured something out. You're just unreconciled. You got some psychology, sociology work to do on yourself. You might need a therapist.
You know, I was thinking though, it's in your backstage. I had to slip in your backstage again. Damn it. I keep doing it today. You know, even Host State admitted he would fuck Tommy. Like it's all there. And I think Hank, you're
you got a bunch of men on here who say I'm weird for wanting to do all things with more than one woman while they regularly sit on panels for 8 hours filled with men that they joke about wanting to fuck. Who's the weird one again? Who's the dysfunctional one again?
And he said it very clearly. I probably would fuck. You could see he looked up, kind of thought about. I'd fuck Tommy. I'd fuck Tommy.
Right. Well, because when you're a beta male with a beta girl and you're in a beta monogamous relationship where you can't be yourself completely, your sex drive starts to invert and act out. So you start to go around telling all the boys on panel you want to fuck them, but it's just a joke. Right. Maybe you really do. I suggest that that woman's ego has you in a cage and now you have a perverse psychology and you project that onto me when it's perfectly supernatural and normal for a man to want multiple women. You could argue it's perfectly natural and normal from an animal level for multiple women to want to be with one man. There's a whole different energy that starts to come about from the inside out, right? And this is what they can't or won't move into to understand. They'll condemn it while they project onto it and then reveal their dysfunction and perversion. Your thoughts, gentlemen? I think we just need to wrap up. We're at the 3rd hour mark. So I guess final concepts, if you will.
Yeah. So in that clip you played, I actually said in the clip that Paul has no requirements that I know of to share our wives with him.
Say that again?
I said you made no requirements that I know of to share our wives with you. So, and I also said that you pretty much treat officers.
Yeah, I didn't make any requirements. The universe did, and I didn't necessarily say that I'm going to share a wife with somebody.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm open to the idea that if a community came about and we were all honorable, equitous people, and we all had a mutual connection or understanding, that it's likely that that's bound to happen at some point, and I can't be combative toward that idea.
That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable.
The woman is going to choose. But again, based on the discernment of that woman and what I ascertain objectively, I may not want to continue in an arrangement like that. Right? If I'm going to be open to that, it would have to be in a communal setting where there was probably 2 to 1 women to men. And with that said, the man was equally honor-able, presentable, and had an understanding. And when he came forth, I would see a reflection of self. Right? Not that I can't see that with everyone anyway, or the potential for that, but I think you know what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. Because then all you have then is a battle partner. You know, you have a community partner, right? It's not even necessarily about wife sharing. It's when you're on the ground in a community, you're not down about another man coming into the situation, as long as all the resources are shared equitably and as long as nobody's doing without, right? And it makes sense. But those are big ifs. So, yeah, I mean, again, this is tribal living from the beginning of time. Men were not fighting each other for the women. There's enough women to go around, so to speak. These are our children, our resources, and I need more men to carry this shit and to fight a war potentially. So these are allies and fellow, brothers, uncles, fathers, however you want to put it. These are men who are going to be in these children's life as an example of masculinity. So if we could show young ones the idea of sharing everything and not competing amongst each other in a dysfunctional way and not being divisive and neurotic, I think that it leads to more kind of genuine love or care and connection and bond and purpose because we got all the nonsense out of the way.
And Hank, you just got to look at the optics here. Why is this subject even brought up? You and I were having a conversation, right? Why did TML bring up Paul's ideology when it comes to it? Because TML is a broken beta bitch that his own woman left him. And so he's going to look at fucking Paul or someone who does present, just triggered. That's the only reason we even talk about TML got triggered like a hoe and brought Paul
Right.
up.
He's telling me about cucking when this woman here I'm with has facilitated a walk with me where she's open to people she knows coming into the situation to experience. Does it mean that it's all based around one physical, worldly, sexual idea? No. That's obviously part of it. We're grown people. But the point is, you got one you can't get, keep, or have who you haven't given nothing to leave off with. She's already bounced on you. And I got more coming into the situation. So how am I cucking? Exactly.
Yeah, to my recollection, Officer Snaps, you brought it up.
I didn't bring up, dude. We watched it and listened to it. I was calling you a gay fucking witch, which I've got good. And DML's like, why don't you hold Paul accountable? And he brought the woman thing.
All right, well, just let it go, man. You keep cycling and spinning on this shit. What is your fixation and obsession with these people in their life?
Well, that's because he's cucking with some Fed.
Just don't care. Like I'll speak on it because you bring it up to point out the dynamic, but I really don't give a fuck, bro. He's a loser, failure, beta male in a dark hole going nowhere. Why do I even need to put my time, energy, attention on it?
Oh, I thought you meant Hank. Why am I like always giving Hank shit? That's why. Because he's
just saying, like all these people, man, they're not in my awareness. I don't watch them or listen to them. The fact that you do is okay. Why do you have to bring it into my awareness when I don't give a fuck about these people? Because they don't give a fuck about the truth and themselves. They're a waste of my time, energy, and attention. I really can only use them to speak on inherent power and value dynamics, psychology, and sociology. And it just starts to become the same old fucking rap.
Hank, that statement you made was absolutely fucking wrong. No, we just watched it. TML's broke ass, hoe ass, fucking single ass, bitch ass, fake Muslim guru ass is triggered. And so he brought Daddy Paul up because his hoe left him. And that's where that whole thing fucking got brought up. That's why we talked about it. And that's the optics, that whole thing. Because you notice, I was like, okay, I'll tell Paul what the fuck's up. But like, that's the only reason is he's a broken hoe that lost his bitch and can't keep it, and he got triggered.
Okay. What I'm saying is, if the controllers can manage people as easily as Paul says they
hold on, I need to cuck. One of these women wants to bang me on New York. I'm cucking again. I don't know.
Is it Paul Senior in New York?
Oh my God, you're so fucking obnoxious. Give me the final word. I'm leaving. I can't deal with you. You're constantly fucking yammering and yelling and screaming. I don't know how your mic is still so loud. I have you down 80% on volume. You're such an obnoxious fucking cretin. I just can't handle it.
That comment was foreskin shadowing for your OnlyFans. Paul Unshaved. So you get around the shadow band. This is a perfect solution for everything. And then we can all just hop over there, talk about what we want. Nobody's going to care. And then we get the message out.
I like porn box better than OnlyFans.
All right, give me the final word, please. My interest is waning as we speak. I'm completely checking out here. The conversation, the non-versation has devolved once again as usual. It's going nowhere, and we're like 23 minutes past the final hour. So let's do us all a favor. We'll leave it where it's at. We'll pick up tomorrow. Yeah.
Hey, I'll take last word if everybody else wants to go first, please.
Well, I'll take the opportunity to go first. Hold on, Snafu, just a sec, please.
And agendas are in play. It's very coordinated, Hank. That's my last word.
All right, we'll see you later.
Well, thank you, Snafu, for being disruptive and kind of derailing things for a little bit. But I had some real stuff to say, but I'll keep it real short so we can get out of here. But I did have a cop watch that I did. I wasn't able to go live on YouTube, which is how I usually do my cop watches, but it was rather interesting. If anybody was curious why there's a link that doesn't have access in your chat, I was just saying that because it was kind of awkward. I usually go live on YouTube, but I didn't. But I was out and about. I was applying myself. That's what I was doing today. And with that, I'll drop out. Everybody, thanks for having me up on panel, Hank. For the first time being on panel, I think, with you. Paul, do this again some other day.
All right, Mr. Joshua, we'll see you later. The folks on Broken System want to join us. We're here daily. It's proper instruction motivates people at Pimp Unslaved. I'll throw the banner up because I got to just repeat over and over again. Apparently, I have to mind control the way the masters do, where folks just don't know what's going on, or they're so apathetic they can't even get themselves to do something different, like subscribe to a second channel and join us daily. So takes a lot. You got to really earn your listener in this game, and that's a challenge that I'm up to, I believe. So I'm in it for the long game. Go ahead, Wizard Creature. Oh, no, Wizard Creature has last word.
This is going after
Go
me.
ahead, Frank.
If the controllers are that good at controlling people, I want the power for myself so I can finally break free of the B system.
Right. All right, I'm throwing you out. Hank, everybody. Wizard Creature.
I'm going to close out with a little bit of scripture one more time. Leviticus 25:44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondsmaids. The importance of this verse is that you have to recognize there are two types of people. There are the bondsmen and the bondsmaids, and those that are buying and selling them. You pick. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. So may God bless you and have a good night. We'll see you later.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wizard Creature. All right, folks. Resounding success. That's what I'm calling it. God of all media has done it again. A little bit of an uphill battle at times, but that's how it goes when you're facilitating this experience, it seems. I think I've gotten better and better at it. I want to believe that. I think the content is better for whatever it's worth. Folks continually get value here that's verified. I get value here that's validated. So that's 1 for 1. All right, I'm going to take my leave. I look forward to being back, as always, 7 days a week. We're over 500 days straight right now and counting. Somewhere between the 12 and 2 MDT hour, as always. I will notify you of any potential unforeseen events. So get some rest, get some sustenance. If you haven't been productive yet today, I don't know what the fuck you're still doing there looking at me. Get up, get out, go down there, have the conversations you need to have, get the completion within self, complete with outside of self, and manifest your destiny. All right, I'm out of here. We stand with Israel. We stand with Ukraine, whoever we're told to. We're good slaves out here. Mazel tov, people. Unslaved one out.